and I don't talk about the episode. We'll talk all week, but we won't ever bring up the episode. So,
oh man, I'm just here for that.
Basement with the VHS. On a scale of 1 to 6, which one is the best? Ninjas, monsters, rock and roll. I got analog blood and a beta soul. Be on board with the glug jug handy. The night's the night for raviolis for Randy. Raviolis, raviolis for Randy. Raviolis, raviolis for Randy. Mac and me, Munchie and Mandy. Raviolis, raviolis for Randy. Raviolis for Randy tonight.
And out of these dark times came the gnarly age, a time where humanoids no longer fear the evil of the wastelands. You, brave scumdog, are you a rat enough dude to take up arms against the mutants and slime-ridden horrors that lay within the ruins of the forgotten world? Be cautious, my dude, for these are still times of great bogus peril. May Lord Randy bless your slaughters and keep you red.
Total carnage! It's the original music makes me sick. We'll make it faster, unleash the masters, and make it right for our new dead master. Oh my God, what have we done? The songs are redone, and we just begun. Yes, this is it. Time to commit, and we'll do a guitar riff. This is right to our face. Ripping our municipal ways. They put straight in our place. Ripping our municipal ways. Team Voice, Ryan Waite. Ripping our municipal ways. This is right to our face. Ripping our municipal ways.
Sure. And we are back. Ripped from the pages of the Pastanomicon. And guess what it's filmed in, Joey? No, Marinara Vision. You ever see the Calamari Wrestler movie? Yeah, it's called the Calamari Wrestler. All right, well, hold on. All right, so this is season 2, episode 1 of Ravioli for Randy, and we have Levi Combs with us today, the immortal, the most famous RPG guy we've had on here by far. Oh, absolutely. No. Oh, no audio on Joey. Can't hear Joey. Oh my God. Say something, gents. We gotta do
anyone there
every time, Joey. Every stinking time. The Old Spice knocks out your audio.
It soaks in.
All
Can
right.
they hear me now?
Chat. Can't hear Levi neither. Only there. There
Uh-oh.
we go. We got it. All right. I'm not gonna do it over. But Joey said it was in Pasta Vision, not Marinara Vision. Yep, I apologize, chat. We are good. We are live.
We're good?
We are good.
Hi, everybody. Ciao, Paisans. Season 2. We're back with a dude I've been waiting to meet for a very long time.
Long time. He's
Woo!
every time
Ed Bickford, everyone.
Yeah. He'll be on.
Levi, nice to see you in the flesh, digitally speaking.
Yeah, same, sir. Good to see you,
The
man.
digital
like I
flesh.
said, I've been told that you're like the coolest guy ever. So
So
here we
lie.
are. I can't
It's a
wait.
lie.
He is my hetero life mate.
Happily so. How's everybody doing? Hello,
Yeah.
guys. How we doing?
Oh,
Brian,
us.
everybody
I thought
doing
you
well?
I'm good,
I thought
man.
you were
I'm
yelling
good.
at the chat like an old
I'm
man.
gonna yell at the chat too. Hello, chat. We're back in action. It's been a long time. I spent a little bit too long at the bottom of the pool this summer, but we're back in action, ready for a fight. We got good stuff going on. Mr. Neon Lord,
Yes.
congratulations on crossing the threshold.
Yep, we are
For a
fully
successful Kickstarter.
packed. 9 days to go. Get yourself in there. Start unlocking these stretch goals. The iWizard wants to know how your finger's doing, Joey. Still in
That's
the,
what you get
still
when
in
you
the
have
cast?
a pet falcon.
Yeah.
All right.
What
That's
are they
what
called?
you get when you try to train a pet falcon. And you never trained a pet falcon before.
It's just like a falconeer or something. Isn't there like a special, like, cool name for a
Oh
falconer?
yeah. You get the glove. You put the little helmet on the bird.
Oh, Mordecai. You got to
Wait,
name
the
it
bird has a
Mordecai.
helmet?
Yeah.
You always
bird
name
has
the
a helmet?
Yeah,
For
yeah,
real?
yeah.
They get a little leather helmet, so they can't
Sits
see
on
or
their
something.
beak. Yeah.
But you're asking the wrong guy. This is the guy that did not know what he's doing with the falcon. Hence the bandaged finger.
Got bit.
Fair
Like a
enough. All right.
Marshmallow hot dog over here.
Well, yeah.
Tell
So
you, it's the hard life.
Okay, well, in a crazy beginning to, we were set up and perfect. I jinxed us when we were talking about like the professionalism of us, and I had you guys like turned all the way down, but that's all right. Levi, tell the people who you are, because I'm sure they already know. But hey, we are a professional TV show, right?
I am a RPG writer and designer of little consequence. My company is Planet X Games. We make zines and adventure modules for the OSR and currently for 5e. Some of our titles include Jungle Tomb and the Mummy Bride and Occurrence at Howling Crater. Escape from Skullcano Island, the Phylactery Disease, and my favorite title of them all, which would be King Tut's Rootin' Tootin', Weird Rest Extravaganza, and Western Wear.
Excellent.
I love it. Some of the best titles. Well, not just, the titles are awesome. The content is just as amazing, but you definitely get the award for coolest titles.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's a lot of times I come up with the title first, and then all the rest.
That's
the rest
how
of
it goes.
We it's like top down design is like we always talk about. Like you come up with like, so I made like a Sleazoid mutated freaks from Cannibal Island, and I was like, okay, that's like the greatest adventure name ever. Now what's it about, right? So like you come up with like the name, and you're like, crap, now I actually have to write this thing. But then, that's exactly how I do it. Yeah. That's like perfect. That makes see if Levi does it, Joey, we're on the right path. We're gonna.
I know. What do they say? Imitation is the highest form of flattery. So I'm stealing
I don't necessarily know if it's imitation because we were doing it. It's serendipitous. Definitely not imitation.
I think a lot of people do this
in spirit.
It's just so very as a lot of people don't follow through. They'll come up with a cool idea or name, and they just. That's where it stays. That's as far as it goes.
That is true. Yeah. Realistically, you could come up with the best name, but you gotta like kick that rear into gear and start a typing or a writing because sometimes you gotta write, sometimes you gotta type.
So that's what I wanted to ask you before we get into the nitty gritty of the weird stuff. I've always wondered that about you, Levi. Like I said, like I've always wanted to talk to you and hang out as pals because we do share a lot of similar interests. But you're you're prolific. You're always working on something. How do you manage your time? I've always wanted to ask you that question because I see I'm on Instagram and I'm always looking at your pages it came from Planet X and your releases. And it's inspirational. I'm like, man, I got to get up. I got to do this. So how do you find the time? You're a dad. I'm sure you do other stuff. What's your secret?
It's just what I do in my spare time. And that's kind of that's not being 100% honest. Like my wife is in the Air Force, so we move around a lot, or in the past we've moved around a lot. We're actually where we're at now. We're staying because she's getting ready to retire. But thanks to moving around a lot, there's a lot of times where I have these long, breaks in between, work. So when I'm not working, I just run Kickstarters and just create stuff. And if I have the afternoon off, I'll just start writing. I'm just I'm getting up early. I'm going to bed late. It's just consistency. It's not like some crazy hustle or anything. It's just I'm just being consistent. Just writing a little bit every day, and it's what I enjoy doing. So it's not a struggle or it doesn't suck.
Sure.
Stuff that I'm writing is just fun, anyways, and the kind of things that I like. So. It's not hard. It's just again, it's the consistency. That's all.
The joy that that's clear. You're not writing as a habit. Everything you put out, there's this through line of joy. Like this guy enjoys what he's doing from the titles to the content, and you got some great artists working with you too.
Yeah, I've been very, very fortunate in that capacity. I've really been able to hook up with some very talented guys. I really can't think of one that just hasn't delivered. It's just they've all been great. So, yeah.
It's funny.
You get time to roll dice too.
Yeah, usually at conventions is when that happens. I do some play testing. We have a local store here, but yeah, not a crazy amount. My oldest son lives in Texas, so he's. I can't really play too much with him on hand anymore, but my youngest son is 5, and then as he gets older, we'll start gaming together as a family. I was just talking to my wife about that yesterday. So, a couple years, I think he'll be in a good headspace, ready for that. So
that's awesome.
I got a Planet X Games Kickstarter in the mail, and the art was so good, I hired Chris Carmen to do art for me.
Dude, that guy, man, Chris Carmen is so talented.
It's insane what he does.
Sick.
Yeah,
it's like he's. I wish he had more time to do stuff. He's off doing his own stuff, and he's got all the things in his life going on.
Yeah.
He's crazy. I wish he had more time, or there was 3 or 4 of them, because I would, man, I'd hire that guy all day long
Yes.
and twice on Sundays.
So he and this is the tragedy of my Chris Carmen story too. So he did the art for. So we have a secret class that like you have to find in the book.
Yep.
And it's a full class, full stats, full everything for Neon Lords, and he did the art for it. So and it's hidden. So you cannot find. You can find it. It's there. So you have to find the class to see the incredible art that he did for it. So it's like.
Let me just say that I love that you do something like that. Is that you hide a class inside of your book? Like you're always doing all kinds of cool little things, like really you're biting into nostalgia without being like look at my nostalgia.
Right.
You're just biting into it in little pieces, and it really comes off in a really good, genuine way.
I appreciate that.
The same way I feel like the same way about that class being hidden is like kind of like when you get the Mork Borg book and you go through, oh, it looks like a cool book, everything's great, it's like an art piece, every page is an album cover,
right?
But then you turn the lights off at night and you're looking at your bookshelf and you're like, what is going on?
The spine
of
glows
that
in the dark. Yeah,
and there's like a secret language and you've got to go and like decipher the language, and it's just, who thinks of that kind of thing? And that's just that added extra touch that's just like chef's kiss, just that's the good shit.
Well, big thing, my big thing was fighting games. You unlock characters in like fighting games and stuff. So it's like, well, how can you transfer video game unlocking of characters over to the tabletop? Because I know like Gloomhaven does it with sealed boxes, like the board game. You get like sealed boxes with the minis, and you can unlock those characters and stuff, and that's cool. So then it's like, well, how does an RPG do it? So I said I was gonna do it before I figured it out. So that was like,
oh, perfect.
Yeah. So you were forced. I was forced to do it, but yeah. So this next book, if I'm gonna shamelessly plug my Kickstarter yet again, we also have a hidden adventure in the book this time, as well as the hidden class.
Oh, nice. Man.
So we stepped it up a ganache, as you will. The pasta puns, Joey.
Oh, man. Wow. Levi, are you working on anything right now?
Yeah, I've got like half a dozen projects going at once, kind of all of it. So that's another thing that I do is that I'll work on something for a few days, and then I'll put it aside and kind of let it simmer while I'm thinking about it, and then work on something different. So I'm always going back and forth between projects. Like I had a guy that I'm collaborating with. And we just wrote this cool thing. It's kind of like a nunsploitation, sword and sorcery, weird fantasy deep dive for first level characters. So it's like that's a lot. There's a lot going on.
That's a lot in that gumball.
But so like that's all written. But like right now I'm just going through and just trying to do some edits to it, trying to, what's it called? They call it killing your darlings.
Yes.
Taking out the stuff that doesn't exactly fit so that I can actually give it to a real editor and they can go through and tighten everything up. So that's what I'm doing right now.
That sounds awesome, man.
But I've got adventures and zines in various stages of completion, and they'll be shooting out kind of, one every 2 months, or every 3 months. Yeah.
Very cool. Very excellent. Joey, do you have anything you want to share on show and tell before we start?
Yeah, so thank you everybody for reaching out. I am still alive and breathing. There is nothing wrong.
I know, I completely, that was my fault. I put the Joey Royale death scare to everybody.
The rumors of my death have been greatly exaggerated, folks. Holy cow.
Yeah.
No, but I just took a break because I had to get things done. I get in these waves where like the peripheral stuff in Facebook gets in the way. So no, I took this summer off social media just so I can get some things done. A friend of mine I met on the pizza party, Chris Messamori, sent me this thing. It's like, spend 30 minutes a day for 30 days working on something. So I started to do these black and white paintings. I'm not an artist, but I had these monsters in my head. So I pumped out one a day. I had 30 of them, and they were just sitting in a box in my basement. So I said, why not? I'll put it in a zine. And that's going to be coming out soon. That's called the June Manifestations, because I did one from June 1st to June 30th. And it's loosely tied to WHPA. I wouldn't say it's a straight up role-playing game supplement. It's basically a painting with a little quote under it. And the way I look at it is they're little They're very tiny adventure seeds. So you'll see it when it comes out, but I'm getting ready for the big. I'm starting an Etsy shop so I can have all my stuff in one spot. And over the past couple of years, I got a great used bookshop in town, and I've been collecting a lot of like Appendix N, some great 60s sci-fi, paperbacks, a lot of Lovecraft, a lot of Ray Bradbury paperbacks, the original ones, and then I've been hitting the treasure trove with some satanic gothic, romance paperbacks from the 60s too, like Bride of Satan and stuff like that. I haven't jumped into them yet. So I'm going to put all that stuff up there. There's going to be a central warehouse. Brian and I are still working on Weird Warriors. We'll have a meeting on that soon. And then there's some other stuff in the tank that I've been working on that me and Brian have been talking about. But that will come out. That'll come out in a little bit.
So, not to step on your creative toes, Joey, but I got an idea for that book. You want to hear it?
I'd love to hear it. Why
so
not?
It would be cool if you took that book and it was as if it came from Fairhaven, like it was printed like in the universe.
Right.
You already do it?
Of course.
Okay.
This is not just I'm Joey. I'm now a basement painter. Oh no, there's a whole. You got a bookend. You got a letter from the X-Tech representative.
Okay, beautiful.
In the front and in the back, there's a letter from the patient who had witnessed these manifestations as they came through the static every morning at 3 a.m. on Channel 13. So there's some interwoven stuff.
All right, I'm very happy.
A million names. So
I thought it was like a library book that was going to have like the card catalog from the the 80s.
Oh,
with the
yeah.
Remember the little slot out?
So yeah, I did. So I'm going to go back in time a little bit, Levi. I love that. Once again, Brian and I always talk about the little accoutrements we can add to products.
Yeah.
And my wife and I had a band right before we had kids, and it was called Get Haunted. That's where all the names came from. I played I electrified my banjo. She played a junkyard drum set, and it was magic. But the first album came with those, like I got the little envelopes, and they came with, I think there was like 8 songs on the album, and each album came with a little library card size thing in the slot that had illustration of the song on the front and then the lyrics on the back. And actually, for all you Fairhaven people out there, the first newsletter has one of those cards on it, the Baghead Man with the lyrics of Cedar Grove. So everything in my world always shows up somewhere amongst this.
So my mom is a retired teacher, and I have books from our elementary school library that I signed out with those tickets still in it.
Oh, man.
Isn't that wild?
Really?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah.
Levi, are you familiar with like the Crestwood books?
Oh, are you kidding me? Those
dude, I knew you would be. Yeah, man.
Of course I am, man. Listen, those things, they're a big part of the reason that I'm such a monster kid.
Yep, me too.
Then I grew into loving all the weird and wonderful sci-fi and horror stuff. Absolutely.
Bride, do you know what we're talking about? The Crestwood books? I think I told you about them before.
It's a book, Joey. I don't know about it.
No, you would like these. Back in the late 70s, early 80s, Crestwood Publications came out with these kids' books.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The orange and black ones, like, Son of Kong and Fu Manchu, Frankenstein, Dracula, Blob. They had a Blob one. But they also came out with, they had like some cryptozoology ones that were awesome as well. I got to find those, yeah.
It's like the Power Lords guy, right? Didn't he do some of those books, or was that something different?
No. That's you're talking about Barlow.
Yeah,
Barlow's Guide to Extraterrestrials. No, these
Wayne
were
Barlow.
These were hardcover. Mostly, I never saw them at a kid's house. They were like direct to library.
Yeah.
Well, it could have been a Time Life book thing, and so like grandmas weren't paying the pennies for it.
No, they were not on the bookmobile. They were not on the bookmobile or Scholastic or anything like that.
It's like
straight
what about scary stories to tell in the dark?
Love them, man. So the June Manifestations is heavily based on the art in that book. I came nowhere close to emulating it because
you definitely got the vibe.
But that kind of stuff, I love. Scary stories. Every time I find a used copy of those books, those used to scare me. Only a couple pages.
The art was very sinister.
The
wild stuff.
Nightmare fuel.
What was so? There was like one. There was like a dead dog in a bag.
Yeah,
And
they didn't mess
there's
around.
like blood stains all over it and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, holy moly.
So in your library, as in your elementary school library, did you have the book about werewolves?
Wait a second. Hold on. Don't say anything else.
Joey's got one, I'm
Give
sure.
you the spell to become a werewolf. Is that the one you're talking about? Oh my God. I could reach through this and kiss you right on that head. Oh, Levi, I knew you were something special, but that just seals the deal. Levi, that book, I got to find that book. You just flipped the switch. Tell Bri about it. Oh man, this is awesome.
No, it's a lot like the Crestwood, not a lot like the Crestwood books, but the same like the hardcover.
Yeah.
Like it just had the copy that I remember seeing had like the old school like Wolfman on the cover was the that's what grabs your attention, and then you go in and it's like all these tales, like stories, like historical accounts of like lycanthropy and werewolfism, and they have all this crazy stuff. And he's right, there is a little area, like a little section where they talk about the spell that you could become a werewolf, where you had to drink out of the wolf's the puddle. There was the wolf print in the water in the wolf print, and you had to drink it as part of the spell to turn yourself into a werewolf. It was so silly, but so cool when you're in fourth or fifth grade.
It's like you didn't want to tell anybody, like, oh man, there's a spell in here. I can finally become the Wolfman. I always wanted to become the Wolfman. Maybe someday.
I'm gonna look this up. This is very interesting.
There were some crazy like woodcut illustrations,
the German woodcuts.
And there was one, and this is like in the elementary school library, and one of the woodcuts was a guy like on all fours, and he was kind of
never
hairy,
forget it.
But he had a baby. He had a baby in his mouth.
That's the number one. That's probably going to end up on my body one of these days. But it's the woodcut of the feral guy with the baby in his mouth.
Is it called
nuts?
Meet the Werewolf?
We got to do some research on
it.
So
I got a cover of, it's like a yellow cover with old Wolfman howling at the moon, and it says "Meet the Werewolf."
Yeah, maybe I don't remember what the name of the book was. I just remember that very clearly. Remember that spell, and again, you had to drink water from the paw print of a wolf.
Find me in the backyard on all fours, looking like with a little cup of water, looking for the wolf print, looking for somebody's golden retriever to drink.
Oh, Joey, you're a werewolf, my friend.
Yeah. Pure nostalgia.
Yeah, I mean, I can't advertise it, but I want to have a transformation on camera one day.
Yeah, like American Werewolf in London.
Yes. Oh, what a movie!
Best transformation. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So let's with that as a segue, Levi, what is your? So we do top 6 in the Ravioli. We're in the VHS store, by the way, Joey. We're back in the VHS store.
We're back in the VHS store.
Yeah, in the background. We're hanging out at the VHS store. We bump into Levi. You got 6 movies in your hand. It's your best 6. So 6 is your best or your worst out of them, and number 1's your best. What's your 6? What's your 6th movie in the pile right now?
All right, before we get into that.
Oh no, what?
We talked about what you said. You said grindhouse or horror.
Yeah.
And I think there's a big distinction to be made between what a grindhouse movie is and what I like to consider, especially since you're talking about being in the video store, what I consider to be just basically VHS trash. And I say VHS trash with the most love.
Absolutely, you're in the right
for that term. It's
know
not
exactly what you're talking about.
Not a slander at all.
No.
In a grindhouse film, grindhouses were these. For those of you who don't know out there, they were these these once fancy movie theaters that basically when Hollywood after the 30s and 40s they Hollywood got to they were mass producing all these films and bigger and better and cheaper venues opened up, so these old theaters would get super run down and they weren't being taken very good care of, and everything inside was old and moldy. So these they became what is called a grindhouse, which is a theater that would basically just get as many cheap movies as they could. They get them as cheaply as they could, and they would just run them all day, all night, back to back. And you could pay one fee basically, and you could go in there and you could watch as many movies as you wanted to in a lot of places, and these are the kind of places that end up, in the 60s all the way through about the mid 80s, 85 or so. You'd see all kinds of exploitation films and these serious genre films, and blaxploitation and kung fu flicks, and these horror thrillers and all these supernatural films, but always very, very, very low budget. Sometimes student films, but that differs from the VHS trash, because VHS trash is essentially that was what we were seeing, in the mid to late 80s in all the video stores. You go in a video store, you see something cool like the cover to TerrorVision looks awesome. What is this about? You could take it home and have your mind blown.
TerrorVision's
because
good,
good Lord, what am I watching?
TerrVision.
Oh, it's amazing.
Fantastic.
I mean, Uncle Rico's a werewolf.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, Uncle Rico is the punk in that one. He's a werewolf in Monster Squad.
I remember. I'm old enough to remember still having second-rate theaters. I could probably go as far as to say they were pumping out some grind stuff, but cinemas 1 and 2, it was like $1. I didn't ever go. I just remember, well, obviously because I was like 5 and I probably wasn't allowed in, but that was always the weird ads in the paper. I still remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, by the time they started to disappear, like around late 86 on through 87, 88, and then of course Giuliani, comes in and
cleans
sweeps
up
everything under the
40
rug.
Giuliani.
Yeah, but those places, that was where you could go to see like Combat, Shock and Awe.
Yeah.
Or you could go see, but you could also see Death Wish, or you could see the Exterminator. But they might be showing Halloween, or they might be they could be showing like anything like Valentine's Day, or Prom Night 2, Hello Mary Lou, or something like crazy like that. You just never knew what you were gonna find.
I know I'm preaching to the choir, but man, I don't know why people just don't rent a little spot in small towns and start showing. Like you got what you got like 5 things to choose from now to go see at the theater. Half of them I don't want to see. I would love on date night with my wife to have a couple of slices and then go see Death Wish on like a grainy copy. With the piss filter, the like everything's yellow and orange.
So, well, I think a lot of it has to do with digital reels now, and finding those 35 millimeters of Death Wish has got to be like a pretty penny, realistically.
And somebody to run the projector. I know.
Listen, there are places that do it, but they're few and far between. Obviously, Quentin Tarantino's New Beverly Cinema in Los Angeles. They actually their prints are always on film. That's their big, always on film. That's their big, through line. But they'll show all kinds of stuff. I think they were not too long ago. They were showing they were doing a double showing of The Keep and Firefox. Or maybe it was The Keep and The Relic. Maybe it was. I don't remember. But they're always doing stuff like that. And they've got all the old trailers, and they've got all the, the really cool stuff. So.
And we talked about that, right? The Keep had an RPG, didn't it? Or like a supplement?
I don't
remember. Did it?
Yeah.
I bet it did.
Yeah.
Like in the time? I don't remember talking about this.
No, I'll look it up. I'll look it up as we're talking. But yeah, rollers say, I wish there was a nice drive-in somewhere by me. We got it. We have a drive-in. We had a drive-in in town. They knocked that down. It's elderly housing now. I drove by in another town next to me and abandoned one the other day that looked beautiful. And then in Manchester, Connecticut, Mansfield, there's a drive-in, and every Sunday it's a flea market too. So that's a pretty cool scene. But I know down in Philly.
Yeah. Well, it's like outside of Philly, the Mohawk.
Yeah.
Mahog, however you say it.
Yeah.
I'm very illiterate.
We'll be corrected. Mahoning. Scott's in the house. Scott's backing me up. I think there was a Keep board game.
Oh, that's probably what it is.
Yeah. And we can thank Scott for the pizza party T-shirts. That guy is
Scott. I wore one last night at the Mustafa stream. I wore my.
Next time I have a kid, that one's yours, buddy. All right, I'll send him down.
Oh. So are we talking Grindhouse, like old school?
So
like
I
dirty?
pretty much. So what I do is I say, Joey, give me top 6 sci-fi movies. I keep it as vague as possible because I want to see how you interpret what I say. It's a mind game, Levi. You're in my web of the octagon.
I'm going to go with my VHS trash.
Yeah, absolutely.
Collections in,
that's
which are
more
completely different than a Grindhouse lowdown. But I wrote them both down. So
excellent.
So number 6 is going to be Return of the Living Dead.
Number 6, wow. So actually, I literally just watched it again. Joey,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep, I started it again the other night. We were all a couple of us were talking about just how amazing that movie is.
So good.
It's scary. It's a scary zombie movie, man. Like, I know a lot of people, oh, it's funny. There's parts of that still give me the willies. I mean, I'll never forget seeing it for the first time as a kid.
Yeah, like you're talking about the female zombie skeleton on the stretcher and talking, and she's like, it hurts, and they're like, what hurts? To be dead. You know, that it's like only eating brains stops the pain of being dead. Like,
it's like, what?
And the naked yellow dude, that's still, I saw that the other day. Yeah. The naked yellow dude is one of the scariest pieces of American cinema of all time. For me, at least. It's just weird. It's just so weird. It's weird that you could almost see the bald cap. That's scary to me as well. I remember that as a kid being like, this whole thing is just gross. I love that.
Yeah, so like Tarman, classic, iconic, right? And then you got that guy. You got the half sliced dog I always talk about, like the autopsy dog.
Butterflies, just a little.
The nuances, and then Lena Quigley doing her best.
Woo!
Yeah, and then do you ever fantasize about being killed? Never.
Send more police.
Yeah, send more cops.
Yeah, that's so good, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's iconic. So it just shows up everywhere in everything I do too. Like Return.
I had that poster before I had before I saw the movie. So the little small town that I grew up in, like 5,000 people, there were two video stores, and the one that was closest to my house, you could go in and for 10 cents, you could buy. They had this big thing of movie posters.
Yeah.
And I would go in there and just look for anything that was horror or sci-fi without even opening it. Like if it said Return of the Living Dead, boom, I was taking it 10 cents. Sure. You know, I'd mow the lawn, go down there with $1 and come out with 10 posters. You know,
wasn't that beautiful?
No, it's wonderful. I'm like 11 or 12.
I am gonna cry. I remember it, man. I got my whole room as a kid. I had Puppet Master 1, 2, and 3 on the wall. I got Creepshow. Bry's got that Creepshow. I sent him that Creepshow poster.
Yep.
I forget it's a Creepshow 1 or 2.
It's a Creepshow 2 poster.
Yeah.
Even better, in my opinion.
Awesome. But and I remember the guys they used to give them to you sometimes too. Hey, when you're done with that, like, again, we're just gonna throw them out. Oh, to be a dumpster in the 80s.
Yeah, I was going in this little place was called Mina Video, and I was going in there like 2-3 times a week, anyways.
Yeah.
And I was always renting movies on the weekends or games at the time because they had Nintendo or maybe Atari at the time. I don't remember. They had one of the other, maybe both. I was getting those, and if I had anything left over, I was always getting posters. So my room was just covered. I mean, I had like Monkey Shines was over here.
Oh, that's a great one.
I remember Lost Boys was on my front door. And I had all these posters. I mean, just dozens of them, just one over the other. But right out, like smack dab, right by my bed, I had Return of the Living Dead. And then my sister, she came to visit, and she brought her daughters with her. You know, these kids are like 4, 6. You know, so we had to. My dad was like, you got to pull them down. I was like, well, they're half glued on the wall. They're all over. I can't really do it. So I remember we hung a big sheet up over the wall so the kids could see
awesome.
All the horror movie posters. Crazy.
Is this the one with the two zombie punks in the gravestone, or was
with the spray painting?
Spray paint one, yeah.
Classic.
Now I had the Return of the Living Dead. Was it maybe it was 2 with the house? And,
yeah.
So I had that one at one point as well.
Those ones. And Fright Night are like 3 of my favorite posters.
Fright Night is a classic. The house with the vampire teeth and stuff. Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Or like no, it's the house with the clouds is the vampire.
Yeah, it's the cloud with the fanged woman. Levi, when you used to go to the movie, I know this is a weird question, but I'm a weird person, and we are VHS aficionados. When you went to the video store, how did you rent the video? Did you bring the box up, or did you have the little tags? How'd that go?
So. You had the box, but behind the box, see the actual box, like the actual clamshell or the actual like cardboard box. But then behind it, there was like a little like plastic box with the tape in it. Yeah. And you would bring that tape up and leave the box behind.
I see. Okay. No, we
So
had
they
that
could
too.
go
We
back
had the
and
box
restock.
behind it. Like if there wasn't a box behind it, you know that you were out of luck. But
Yeah.
then there was another place in my town, and Bride, this is like one of the first conversations you and I ever had.
Yeah, it
They had these
was.
little, like almost like wood paneling tags with a number on it, and you give it to the kid behind the counter, and they'd find the number and pull it out for you.
Oh,
It was
nice.
Yeah.
crazy.
So actually, it's funny you bring that up because work upon the old VHS rental store here is underway, but we're moving it to the basement. We decided.
Ooh,
So it'll
all
be the
right.
basement, and I am gonna peg them too. Everything's gonna be like with the little tags.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
That's great.
it's gonna be awesome. I'm very excited.
I think I have a copy of Ninja Terminator in one of my storages. If I find it, I will send it to you.
I will
Wow.
gladly accept it. Thank you. It'll go.
It's an amazing cover on that VHS.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
Amazing
can imagine.
movie.
Yeah,
Amazing movie.
yeah. So, what is your Return of the Living Dead 2 thoughts?
I mean, I only saw it like maybe once or maybe twice. It doesn't stick out in my head as something that I remember. You know, like Return of the Living Dead. I mean, it had those punks. You know,
Yeah.
or what
They thought
the
were
world
the,
thought
yeah,
were.
totally, yeah.
Yeah,
movie
so
punks.
and it had Leonard Quigley. So
Sure.
that was a big, and that with the special effects, especially Tarman. You know, that was for me. That was the one. You know, where he's slopping across the floor and chasing after those guys as they go up the stairs. That was, and then of course it said more cops. That was always like a big thing for me. But you know, the whole, and still to this day, like the most quoted part of that movie for me was always, you know, well, you think this is a walking costume?
Yeah.
What your life? You know, that was still like the most quoted.
I say that
quoted
all the time.
scene.
I think I said that to Joey because he was talking
Yes.
about his ensemble that he wears. Yeah.
What happens in 2? Remind me about 2.
So I would have to relook. I just watched it. Like I have it on DVD. I just watched it. Let me pull up.
What's the setting?
Yeah, I remember they do the Thriller dance.
I remember three.
I remember. Huh?
I remember 3. 3 was the one with the girl on the cover, right?
Yeah.
Where the girl.
I've never seen 3. I've only ever. I had no interest in it. So
That was a weird time, man. That was a crossover time. That one stuck with me at a friend's house.
So the plot says, curious kids unearth the barrels that previous help. Yeah. So they find the barrels. Yeah, I'm gonna have to rewatch it because I just watched it like while we've been doing this. Ravioli for Randy season 1. I watched it and I was like, oh, this is actually pretty good. And now I can't remember anything about it.
I remember the kids. I remember the kids with the barrels in the beginning.
Yeah, so
but
they hit the barrels and the gas comes out and they turn and yeah. I'm gonna rewatch it. I'll rewatch it like sometime. But speaking of rewatching, I remember. So this has been sitting pretty heavily on my heart, Joey.
Okay.
We taught on the VHS.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Oh no, go ahead.
So the VHS. So the episode where it was solely based on VHS art, right?
Yes.
And I talked about Night of the Demons, and how I loved the cover art, and like I have VHS copies because the cover art's fantastic, but I hate the movie, right? And then I was like, I can't stand this movie. And then so I see everything online. People like really like this movie, and I'm like, maybe I was harsh on it, and I felt bad. So I rewatched it when I did Return of the Living Dead, Night of the Demons double feature like last weekend, and it still sucks. So I feel I'm okay. I've been vindicated in my beliefs that Night of the Demons sucks.
I always get confused in this, and there's another episode where I got confused too. Is Night of the Demons the apartment complex or the movie theater?
It's the funeral home. The kids have a Halloween party in the funeral home.
Oh, wait a second. Okay, I gotta look.
I think you're thinking of Demons.
Yeah, you're talking about the Italian. I want to say it may be a Mario. I wouldn't be Mario Brava, right? It would be like a loose
Or Fulci maybe.
Fulci Demons. Yeah, I would assume Fulci did it.
Right,
Demons, 85 Demons.
Maybe Baba.
Could be. Lamberto Bava.
There we go.
You were right. Is Demoni. Yeah. So
I get those movies mixed up all the time too. I always think of the one in the movie theater. Is the one I always think of.
Yeah, with the mask.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Italian one.
That's the Italian one.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, not like if you're guessing, yeah, Fulci, then you're 9 times out of 10 probably right anyway, right? Like when it comes
Yeah.
to like
Yeah.
like Italian non giallo Italian movies, Fulci probably did it.
No, for sure.
And then
I like all that stuff, man. A lot of people get hung up on the artsy, because some of those movies they derail deep into like nonsense territory sometimes.
Oh, sure.
But I think that's part of
Like
their,
a fever dream.
I think that's part of their charm.
well, that's
Yeah.
like
You know,
I
where
mean, yeah,
you can watch Zombie and you've got the. Sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead. I'm interested in what you're gonna say about Zombie.
Oh, I just that you can watch those zombie films and they're I don't know, they're 80% just nothing filler.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
you get when the zombies are on the screen, you're like, oh
Yeah, it's
here
like
we go.
like an Italian soap opera, and you just like do
Yeah.
not care.
Yeah.
And it's
You
like
get three zombie scene. You get 3 zombie scenes a movie,
Yeah.
and when you get them, they're intense.
Yeah,
But then you got to get through the drama end of it, and I'm like drama, like sawdust drama.
well, it's
Yeah.
like
And sometimes a zombie fights a shark.
yeah.
Yeah, and that carries you for the next hour until you wait for the next.
Yeah,
one.
it's a heated Italian drama. You hear glass break, the Goblin soundtrack kicks on, and then like zombies are coming. Like
I'm watching.
You just
I'm
described it
watching the
perfectly.
trailer Tonight of the Demons right now. I remember this, and
it's bad.
makeup's cool and all that, but
No,
it,
there's some great special like practical
yeah,
effects.
practical effects.
when she's like turning into a demon and stuff, but
Yeah,
it's just not for me. I'm sure like some hardcore horror heads out there are pretty upset, but
those movies are great when it's Sunday afternoon and you have the flu.
it's
That's
not
just
even that
trans-
good. I wouldn't even watch it then.
You wouldn't even watch it if you had the flu?
No, because that's when you watch Roadhouse. Everyone watches Roadhouse when you're sick. Everyone knows that, Joey.
Oh,
That's-
I was at family dinner tonight, and my youngest sister, she goes, "Hey, you ever see the movie Roadhouse?"
like, yeah.
Nah. Luckily, she liked it.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's never seen it before.
No, she had never seen it before.
They're remaking
Listen-
it with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Pain don't
Outta
hurt.
here. Come
Yeah,
on.
pain don't
Why?
hurt.
Why? Only Patrick Swayze can rip the throat out of a man the right
Named
way.
Jimmy with a dangly earring.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
not gonna be anywhere. Oh, and it's like, and it's the like the plot's different and everything too. It's like remake by name only. So
Come on.
what are you gonna do?
Everything will be remade. Everything. Every movie you think of as a sacred cow, Star Wars, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Jaws, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they're all either have been remade or will be remade
Not Holy Mountain.
eventually.
Okay, all right. So now you're talking about my Okay, so I have 2 all-time favorite movies: Romero Dawn of the Dead, '70s one, right? And Alejandro Jodorowsky's The Holy Mountain is my the tie for number 1. So Joey, you got to see one of my favorite movies of all time. How do you feel?
Yep. So it is probably one of my favorite movies of all time. And Mrs. Royale agrees. She goes, "Holy cow, this is one of the greatest things I've ever seen."
All right.
Probably going to put it on again before bed tonight.
Oh,
I
wow.
love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love the idea of the filmmaker as a dreamer, where he just said, "We're going to go everywhere. We are just going to go everywhere. Nothing is sacred. Everything is sacred. We're going to find this weird in between, and we're just going to go with it." And I just think, like I always think, like a nut, like off camera, like, all right, cut, lunchtime. Imagine the lunches. Imagine like everybody sitting down, covered in whatever, wearing whatever. Like, all right, we're gonna have we're gonna have spaghetti together. Let's talk about what are you doing this weekend. It's just like, how is there a reality on set of a movie like that? Like everybody is caught up in the fever.
It's not.
Everybody, huh?
There's not reality.
I guess not. No, man. It's
Don't
just
get excrement in my spaghetti.
yeah, golden excrement. Yeah, unbelievable. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Very special film.
Absolutely. It's like And then like I mean, I'm gonna spoil the ending because it's been like probably 50 years since it's been out.
Yeah.
Like the anticlimactic ending where they all sit around the table. So it's like it's the act of like, so in the beginning it's beyond surreal and it slowly becomes more reality to where at the end the expedition is the film crew and Jodorowsky at the table and with the actors, and like, you know, it's like, this is nothing, this is a movie, and he's like, pan camera, and it like pans out and shows everything, and it's like he just flips the table and the movie's over. Like
that's all you need. That's what you do. Unbelievable.
And that, you know, and that has been stolen. I say stolen, homaged. It has been homaged time and time and time again. I was watching Rubber the other day, which is I don't know if you've ever seen that film.
Yeah, that's the killer tire.
Yeah, the killer sentient.
Oh yeah.
Rolls around the desert and blows people's brains. But that's he's just obviously like almost shamelessly homaging Jodorowsky when he does that. You know, like it's such a. I mean, I like that movie. Don't get me wrong. I'm quite a fan of it actually. But you know, he's riding a fine line between homage and the other thing. So
yeah. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So speaking of that, so Only God Forgives. You ever seen that movie?
Love that movie actually.
That's a huge. That actually is heavily like homage to Jodorowsky and Holy Mountain. Like you could just see it like in the cinematography, like the music choices and everything.
They don't make them like that anymore, gentlemen.
Very rare.
What's your number 5, Levi?
If we're sticking with the theme of VHS trash, it is Near Dark.
Near Dark.
Oh,
so you know,
just watched that again a couple weeks ago.
Did you know Near Dark and Lost Boys came out in the same year?
Did they really?
Yep.
Huh. Well, one is much better than the other.
Are you saying Near Dark is better than Lost Boys? Or are you saying Lost Boys? Which one's better?
No, they're both great films that I will watch again and again and again. But I think Near Dark is the better film. Lost Boys has the advantage of having a bunch of stars in it.
Right, absolutely.
That's top tier stars. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's flashier, it's prettier, it's cooler, whatever. But the real deal Holyfield vampire film of the 80s is 100% Near Dark, man. It is dirty and gritty, and it feels lived in. Yeah,
that's it right there. You get greasy, dirty, vagabond vampires living out of cars.
Yeah,
that's how it's done, man.
And Bill Pullman,
what a cast! The little kid, I love that kid.
Yeah,
love that kid.
Yeah, he's been in a bunch of cool stuff too. Like he's still around too. Like I listened to a podcast that he was. I'm trying to remember his name, but he was on a podcast I listened to not too long ago, and he was just ruminating on all these roles that he did. What's the one with Dennis Hopper where he's in Crispin Glover, the guy they kill a girl down by the river, River's Edge.
Oh yeah, River's Edge. Yeah.
He's in that with like Keanu Reeves and Crispin Glover and Dennis Hopper. It's such a strange cast. Great movie.
That's another great one too. Yeah.
But he's been in a bunch of stuff. But yeah, again, it feels lived in and dirty, and you know, it feels like if you if you pick it up, you're gonna get like little greasy fingerprints all over it. You know,
that bar scene. I love that bar scene, man. That bar scene is just relentless. Nobody has a chance, and they are just almost literally bathing in the violence.
Well, and Jeanette Goldstein, who everybody knows from Aliens as Vasquez, she plays a completely different role as I forget her name in the film, but her character's name. But she's the kind of the den mother, the female lead of the vampires, and she's fantastic. I mean, and of course Lance Henriksen, who's also from Aliens. You got
Bishop.
as Bishop,
Paxton, man. Paxton at his best.
Another Aliens.
Yeah, right.
It's game over, man. It's game over.
I mean, what a cast, you know.
And the sickness. I love how he gets sick. The main character, vampire sickness. He does not want to drink that blood. The humanity's still in it, but he just gets sick. And when they throw any movie like that, like a monster movie, where like it's tied to protecting his family, who are basically off screen for most of the movie, like that just adds such. I remember the first time I saw that as a kid, that added so much tension. Like the really nice dad and the sister. It's like, oh God, I hope he makes it out all right.
Well, and
Get
directed by
married.
Catherine Bigelow, who went on to win an Oscar for Hurt Locker.
Oh,
You know,
Hurt Locker.
wow, really?
She was married to James Cameron, if I remember correctly. So,
Wow.
I mean,
I had
pretty high
no
pedigree
idea.
of filmmaking. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one. Is it the
Cool
epitome? Is it the epitome? Is it your favorite vampire movie though? Let's go. I'm just out of curiosity.
Oh man, not prepared for that question.
See, that's
That's a tough one.
We're the hard
That's-
hitters. We are the hard hitters.
It's definitely going to be in top 3. That's a good point. You gotta let me think about that, man.
Yeah,
I
that's a
don't know.
tough one.
I'll give you mine to help
Let's hear
you
it.
out. From Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, that was like seeing that in the theater was an experience. That's one of those things like, oh man, this was entertaining.
Yeah.
Like how many
It just
times you go to the
changes
movies and are really
Right in
entertained?
the middle.
Yeah,
You think you're watching one movie, and then all of a sudden, oh
Yeah.
no, you're not watching that movie
Yeah,
anymore. Here
yeah.
is a crazy horror movie.
It was
Yeah.
so, Joey loves my dad stories. So like, my dad would always rent 2 movies, right? He would rent one for the family, and then one for him, like after like a rated R action movie or something. And then finally, that rite of passage where we got to stay up and watch both movies, like going like in our teen or like when From Dusk Till Dawn came out. So From Dusk Till Dawn was one that we rented, and then we started watching it, and then like halfway through, he's like, "I thought this was a vampire." I probably told this story. It's like I thought this was a vampire movie, and then all of a sudden, like the doors lock, the lights go off, and it's like the band starts playing, and it's a vampire movie, and it's one of the best damn vampire movies ever
Oh,
made.
so good.
I love
Yeah,
that
you know-
movie.
You know who doesn't get enough credit in that movie? I mean, they're all good, but Tarantino is legit creepy.
oh man,
as-
he's
As the
psycho.
brother,
Yep.
Yeah.
who's like, who's? I mean, he's not the greatest actor, but like, he's legit creepy when he can hear the voices in his head.
Yeah,
like, of these women telling things to him, and
yeah.
he's telling that bank teller to sit down next to him. Like, he's legit creepo. You know
so
what I mean?
it's the Gecko brothers, right?
Yeah.
So what's his name? Richie
Yeah, yeah.
Gecko. Yeah. I'm just trying to think of Juliette Lewis's line is how I remembered his name.
No.
So I won't repeat it because we're a family show. But yeah. I mean, Harvey Keitel, Juliette Lewis, Quentin
Yeah.
Tarantino, Richard Dawson.
That would be great.
I don't know.
Yeah, Tom Savini as Sex
Tom
Machine.
Savini, Fred
Clooney.
the Hammer Williamson, one
Yep.
of my favorite actors of all time, is in it.
Grindhouse legend.
Yeah, absolutely. Like he is.
George Clooney.
Yeah, I said George Clooney. That's why I meant.
Did you? I mean, but it's like
I said Richard,
George
yeah.
Clooney.
Danny
That's
Trejo.
like
Yeah, Danny
that's
Trejo.
crazy.
Keith
Yeah,
David.
Trejo. I mean, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
But that's a great one.
Yeah,
I like Shadow of the Vampire too. I thought that was such a cool idea.
It's a great movie. Yeah,
You
with the
see that
with
one,
Willem
Ryan?
Dafoe.
I've seen it. I saw it in the theater. I'm not a huge fan. It's a little too artsy fartsy for me.
It's a slow burner.
Oh yeah, that's like the slowest of burns. You ever see
I
House?
like a slow burn.
You ever see House of the Devil? Talk about slow burns.
Oh, I love House
That's
of
like
the Devil.
Devil.
that's the
I
only-
love House of the
that's
Devil.
I actually I have a VHS copy of it somewhere.
Levi, you got to check out House of the Devil.
It's a
I
slow
love
burn.
House of the Devil.
It's the
Alrighty
slow.
then.
It's so the guy who did that did a ghost movie in a hotel afterwards, after House of the Devil, which is really good too. It's a slow burn.
There's a couple under that umbrella, but
So-
I love House of the Devil.
Okay, we got it, Joey.
All right.
House of the
What
Devil.
were your other top? What were your other top vampire films?
Who, me?
Nosferatu
Oh,
for me.
yeah, I was-
I mean, you can't have vampires without Nosferatu. That's still, I don't care if it's a silent movie or not. That still gives me chills. There's some creepy scenes in that I still watch.
Yeah, I'm not a huge vampire guy. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really like vampires. So, I know Joey. Like,
Don't listen to him. It's all right.
oh, so then Plant 9 from Outer Space is my other favorite vampire movie.
That's okay. Listen, I don't think that's people make fun. I like Plan 9 from Outer Space.
No, it's a
Let
good
that
movie.
go on the
Yeah,
record.
yeah, I like it too.
I appreciate, not tongue in cheek, not because it's
No,
cheap.
I like it unironically.
I do too, man. That's a creepy movie. That's another one. Like, what's going on behind the scenes there? What's the craft table? What's the craft service table?
Well, you
like?
can watch.
I love
you can watch the craft table scene because Ed Wood goes along. Doesn't
Yep.
it shows him making Plan 9 in the
And Kreskin, the amazing Kreskin in the beginning. I love that.
Oh no, what is his name? It's not Amazing Kreskin. It's
That's the real. Kreskin's the real guy, right?
Oh yeah, what was his name? I can see it. Jeffrey Jones played him in the movie.
Somebody made a little figure of him. I remember I saw him.
What was his name? He's got that crazy blonde.
Oh, the blonde
pearl.
hair.
Yeah,
it's like David Lynch hair.
Oh, absolutely. That movie has one of my
Criswell, the amazing Criswell.
Criswell. That's right. Yeah, that movie has one of my favorite just shouted out lines in all of cinema history. Like they're on this the aliens are on the aliens look like humans, but they're on their spaceship that has government desks and rolling chairs and whatnot on it. It's obviously somebody's office, but they're they're on their futuristic spaceship, and then the head alien, the boss of the aliens, he gets mad and he's like, "You people of Earth are idiots. You're stupid, stupid, stupid." He just goes off, and it's still every time I see it, every time I hear it, it is just like pure magic, man. It's just they don't make them like that anymore.
I do love me some Lost Boys though. That's an awesome movie.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I know. Like Lost Boys. Yeah, Lost Boys is great. There's nothing like. Alex
Fright Night. Fright Night is amazing vampire.
Yeah, that's
movie.
the why I brought it up. Like I thought you were gonna. Yeah, Fright Night's a fantastic. That's like that vampire trope, right? Like your neighbor, don't invite your neighbor in because you let the right ones in, right? Like.
Well, there's another one.
I was going to
say
the right
one in. That's another beautiful movie.
Yeah.
Vampire movie.
Mm-hmm.
I love that one.
Well, and Chris Sarandon as was it Jerry, whatever his name is in the film? Like he's just like pure sex.
Right, he's very charismatic. That's like how you think about vampires, right? Like with the hypnotic eye that they can like lure the women. Like, I mean,
but it's so funny when you actually read Bram Stoker Dracula. Like his breath smelt of death, and he was he was old. There's nothing sexy about him in that book.
No, they just
parts of it, like as he gets. Well, but I mean, even the Gary Oldman Dracula. That's a piece of work right there.
Yeah. Bram Stoker's Dracula the movie, like that was like a cross-platform extravaganza. Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, video game tie-ins, like
McDonald's. Everybody was selling that one.
Yeah.
The armor. I think you posted it the other day. Levi, did you maybe it was you that put a picture up of the armor from that movie? That was amazing. It looked like muscle.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. Like, it's beautiful design.
Yeah, imprinted in my brain as a kid. I remember that armor being like, dang, that's pretty cool.
I think a lot of the whole where vampires are just all sexy and whatnot, that comes from Bela Lugosi, because that his whole persona after Dracula was that he was Dracula. And that he could lure these, lovely ladies in and whatnot. Like that was a whole thing with him. Like there's some really interesting stuff you can find online about kind of what a creep he was there for a large portion of his career. Because he's he comes from not very 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 humble beginnings to rise to become this this big great big star, and I think he let a lot of that go to his head.
Yeah, I mean, Ed Wood, like the last days of his life, just definitely portrays it very well. Like he definitely let it go to his head, and like he's like that another trope of like those like old golden age of cinema actors, like living like these like lives of like I was in this movie and nobody cares type thing, like getting senile and stuff with it. Yeah, totally.
But Scott Hulu brings it up too. Like this is the time of year, Scott, where I start opening up the Hammer crypt. And I get back into that stuff.
I don't rock the Hammer.
I didn't think you would.
My blood is red, white, and blue, baby. I don't watch no.
My blood is purple.
No British cinema in my house.
Oh, I love that. I love the Hammer stuff, man. I love the Hammer stuff. I love the color, the sets. That's so cool to me.
I got
And Christopher Lee as Dracula. Just come on.
That
Yeah.
was my father. I found it not too long ago. I picked it back up again. There's a movie that you could get from the back of Famous Monsters, and it was called Horror Movies, in just a big coffee table book from the 70s, and a lot of it is horror, Hammer stuff. And I remember when you open it up, like that inner cover is Christopher Lee with the bloodshot eyes in a pricker bush. And it was like, just opening that up alone, that left such an impact on me.
Well, actually, Joey, that's a mulberry bush. Levi's. Oh, there you go. You were frozen for a second there, but you came back.
Oh,
yeah, I love the Hammer films.
Nah,
Yep.
I've never got into it. It's too old for me. I'm an 80s, 90s guy.
I know. You do not cross the threshold.
Oh, the only thing.
No, I didn't get into any of that stuff until
Later in life?
after later in life.
The only thing I watched that's not well, I do like some. Obviously, Dawn of the Dead was in the 70s.
Yeah.
So of course, like some great stuff. Adam West Batman is just like that's like the coolest thing to me. I still watch it. I showed Wesley the other day, and he was like actually like interested in it.
It's I love the villain of the week aspect of. Oh man, yeah. Here we go. Tangent City.
Yeah, that's why like Levi. That's why I sent you such a loose like list, because we go down rabbit holes like crazy, and we just sit here and chit chat about things.
No, I love it.
And people like it too, apparently, because there's people watching and they're asking, about the Hammer films. I don't mess with the Hammer. Like, you guys can do that. I know. So there's one Hammer movie I own that I gotta watch. It is The Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
It's there was a huge clamshell when I was a kid. I've talked about it because I brought it up in another stream, and I wanted to buy it. I got $20 allowance every week, and I always bought a movie with it, and it was like I got Fulci Zombie like that way, because there was on the back it talks about a shark and a zombie fighting, like we talked about, and then next to it and these bigger clamshells was The Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires, and it was like it's like Dracula fight, like kung fu fighting. And I was like, I gotta get this, but then I was like, well, I don't know. I'm very hesitant because I'm screwed for the week if this is like my choice. So So I never bought it, and then I got it recently, and it's in a box, and I gotta dig it out and watch it.
So you have not seen it at all?
I have not seen it at all, but it is a Hammer Shaw Brothers co-release.
Yep. I really enjoy it.
You've seen it.
I have seen it.
Worth a watch.
Yes, absolutely. It's an experience.
Oh,
You'll never watch another movie like it in your life.
All right, I'm gonna pop it on the old VCR because I got it on VHS, so I'm gonna watch.
Cushing, man, Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. What a tag team right there.
Yeah, I mean, Peter Cushing is my favorite Star Wars character and Grand Moff Tarkin, so I have to give it some respect.
A classy guy. That's a cool crew.
Yeah. Okay, chat's saying it's awesome. I'm gonna go with chat because I don't believe Joey ever. So, no, I'm just kidding. All right, so that was your number 5, Levi. What do you got for number 4?
Again, VHS trash. I'm gonna go with Evil Dead 2.
Mm-hmm.
Not Evil Dead.
No.
Oh no.
No, we're Evil Dead 2 fans.
Evil Dead 2 for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's got that great ending. That gears up Army of Darkness, that it actually made, they actually did Army of Darkness, like off that ending. He and what a great, I'm shooting right to the ending, but it's Evil Dead 2 and you're watching Ravioli for Randy on a Sunday night. If you haven't watched Evil Dead 2 yet, you deserve to get spoiled, right? Like, this is like what we do.
This is what we do.
I mean, think about it. He gets the Necronomicon, right? He says the spell to open the portal to shoot this evil away from him, and he gets sucked in too. And then he goes to medieval time. Like, how awesome of an ending is that?
It's just a movie of
It's the perfect ending.
Yeah. So it's the best ending. It kicks off fast too. The pacing is insane. It's one of the best paced movies of all time.
I mean, even the camera work is fast.
That's what I was about to say too.
There's an intensity.
Yeah.
There's an intensity and confidence that
like
runs through that whole movie. Like, we're gonna go crazy. We're gonna redo most of the first movie right in front of your face, and you're still gonna love it. and we're gonna go off the wall from terror to comedy and everything in between.
Yeah, like it go like when like the dark or like the evil comes out of the woods, it sounds like a fighter jet.
Oh.
It's like
Yep.
like shooting right through it, and then it's like the trees are just and it gets him and it's like spins him around and like shoots him in. It's phenomenal, fantastic.
It sure is.
Yeah, like I mean,
I might have seen Evil Dead 2 more than any other horror movie. It's really high up on my list of the ones that I've seen the most. It was like for the back in the days of iPods.
Yeah,
it was the only one I had. The only actual film that I had on my iPod that I could watch on the tiny little screen.
That's cool. That's really cool. That would make for a great adventure. I wonder, it would take a really good DM to do it, but an Evil Dead adventure would be really fun.
Easily done.
And there's just so much to love about that movie. I can remember as a senior in high school. I remember like we had one of our teachers was a math teacher. He was like, if you guys can, whatever, if everybody can get like over, like 70% or 80%, whatever it was on this test coming up on Friday, I'll let you watch any movie that you want to. Just don't bring in any kind of, within reason.
Yeah.
So someone brought in Evil Dead 2, and we watched Evil Dead 2, and lights are all off. I mean, it's a small school, but we're watching Evil, and I can remember the scene with the hand. The hands running around everywhere, and doing the rude gestures, and all the little physical. The whole class was just roaring. Just a bunch of like sweaty, 17-year-old dudes just laughing at Evil Dead, and in the middle of October in Arkansas.
That's
like,
beautiful.
That's just a crazy. Yeah,
yeah.
That's where I remember seeing it for the first time, and then just watched it probably 100 times since.
Yeah, I mean, we could go scene by scene and how awesome that movie is. What's the here, Joey? Here's the golden question. I'll do it. I'll check it. What's the runtime on Evil Dead 2? Do you know off the top of your head?
No, I don't. Good question. So, Levi, we have this thing where all of the movies we really, really love just happen to be about 90 minutes. They don't cross the threshold past 90 minutes. There's something magical about an hour and a half.
It's the perfect
if you can tell a story. Yeah, if you can tell.
I'm gonna say 92 minutes.
Yeah, you're probably gonna be really close.
Okay, so I'm gonna do this, and then I have a question for Levi. Well, I can do it while I'm looking. What are your thoughts on the remake?
I've seen it once. I watched it in the theater. I have never revisited it. There were parts about it that I liked, but it didn't grab me the same way that the originals did.
I mean, it doesn't have the soul of the originals, but I do like the brutality of it.
I read a fine line when it comes to brutality in movies, especially horror movies. Sometimes I think the unnecessary brutality in some films can just not cross the line, but it just seems unnecessary, and it almost makes the film feel like less. My wife and I, we just watched a film called The Haunted. Have either one of you seen that?
I don't.
So.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, so it's about this woman and her two daughters. They go to they're moving to a house like out in the sticks, and there's these serial killers, and then there's a big, all this violence, and there's like there's a big switch in the tone of the movie, like right in the middle, like a big surprise.
Yeah.
And just the way that it's portrayed, it seems so needlessly cruel and needlessly.
I feel you on that. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. But at the same time, like I've watched plenty of movies where, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like that's a very brutal movie, and it shocked people when it seriously shocked people when it first came out.
Yep.
But I don't find it unnecessarily so. Like this one that we watched was just. It was unfortunate because it had, like there were pieces of it that had like real promise, like there were some really really good moments, and then it just didn't deliver. You're overshadowed by like how unnecessarily cruel it is. That's all you can see. So it's kind of
brutality to me. Yeah, I get where you're going. Like there's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but then there's The Last House on the Left, and
Okay, well, first of all, Joey, Last House on the Left is phenomenal, okay?
I'm not saying it's bad. but that's not a movie I can sit down and relax. Like, oh, I'm gonna watch Last House on the Left.
You want to
again.
watch it one time.
That's exactly what I'm getting at, Levi. I can watch that movie. It popped up the other day. I'm like, am I gonna open this door again? I'm like, no, I don't need to, man. I went through it once. It is a piece of history. I could watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre a million times.
It's different.
And it's a new, but Last House on the Left, I get brutalized once and that's it.
So it's
there are a lot of films like that, you know.
Evil Dead 2 is 85 minutes.
Oh, God bless him. God, not even 90. God bless him. That's great.
That's good. That's good
Yeah.
that they got all that into 85 minutes and it's tight. It's a tight 85.
Yeah.
It's
There's a lot happening.
Pack a lot. That's an eclair with just the filling just oozing out, man. They filled that thing right up.
Okay, that's a weird analogy, but I'll take it.
You don't like eclairs?
No, I do, but it's just funny. Like, wouldn't you think that essentially that would be over 90 minutes if it's falling out, Joey?
All right, it's an 85-minute eclair, and there's just a whole whatever.
It's
All right.
perfect. It's just
I'm gonna go. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I ate them. Now I'm hungry again. Levi got me all excited, and my metabolism's speeding up.
All right, so yeah, I see what you're saying. Like TCM for sure is brutal, and it's tastefully, and it's like brutality, like for purpose, not for the sake of like over the top brutality that's just tasteless, right?
The kid, the part with the hammer, the grandfather and the hammer.
Yeah.
Well, the grandfather. That's like the Royale family, like Thanksgiving.
Yep, right there, man.
Is that
right there? Slow, dropping the hammer, picking up the hammer, yelling at each other.
Yeah,
that's it right there.
Like
That's the Royale Thanksgiving.
The grandpa.
Listen, when you watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you feel hot and sticky, and like you feel like it's a piece of spoiled meat.
Yep.
You know, you feel like it's you're in a mold infested house with chicken feathers everywhere. You know, you can feel the movie come through. Like it just it sets a certain vibe. Exactly, it stinks. It sticks to you.
Yeah.
But a movie like The Haunted, it just seemed like, well, let's try to get a little bit of that, and just failing miserably.
Yeah, I see.
And there's even a scene towards the end of the movie. And I don't, for those of you who have, because it's fairly new, those of you who have not seen it, there's a scene involving H.P. Lovecraft that just was just not repellent is not the right word, but just dumb, just hopelessly dumb. So
it wouldn't be a ravioli for Randy if we don't talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I feel like we talk about it all the time. But I mean, like, it's the best because my brother makes a good head cheese.
So my wife just my wife just reminded me, it's not The Haunted. It's Incident in a Ghostland. That was the movie. We watched The Haunted the next night.
Okay.
Incident in a Ghostland was the name of the movie.
All right, I wrote that down.
Thank you. Yeah, Incident in the Ghostland. Watch it at your own risk. It's pretty bad. The Haunted actually. Also not great, but better than Incident in the Ghostland.
Incident in the Ghostland. I will check that.
We're doing this thing where we're trying to watch as many horror movies leading up to Halloween as possible.
Oh, sure, man! It's the season. It's the season. We are there. We
are
getting ready.
Stuff that we haven't seen before. So
before we get, what's your favorite horror movie of all time? Let's cut
The Thing.
Boy.
The Thing. Interesting.
The Thing. Yeah. That's
hands down, no contest.
That's a good one. That comes up a lot here. I think that's definitely going to be on my Halloween rewatch list because it has been some time since I've seen that one.
I mean, you got Texas Chainsaw Massacre as a runner-up, The Exorcist, Jaws, The Shining. I mean, these they're all pretty classic. Halloween. These are all classic films. They all have
classics for a reason.
Yeah,
no, and most of them have something that most of them, except I guess really for Halloween, have something in common, and that's isolation.
Mm-hmm.
They take place in these either isolated places or there is like some sort of centralized isolation. Like they're on the boat, so the three guys are on the boat in Jaws, but there's nobody else around. It really they really are an isolated area. Even with The Exorcist, do you really spend much time outside of that bedroom? Not really.
Yeah, there's like 3 sets,
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, really.
The living room.
It takes place in Antarctica, and then you have Halloween really doesn't follow that.
Well,
That's a beat. Halloween's a beast of its
technically,
own.
Levi, wouldn't you say Lori is alone in the thoughts of her own head with her brother chasing her? So one would say that isolation does fall into Halloween.
I think Halloween is an isolationist movie. It's the isolation of the suburbs. It's a historical piece. It's a statement on American culture as we are moving away from interacting neighborhoods. As we move into the 80s, neighborhoods are starting to break apart. You don't know your neighbor's business like you used to. So there can be a killer loose, and you can be trapped in a house without anybody helping you.
The
I think it's a
monsters,
statement of
the monsters
of
are truly due on Maple Street, Joey.
Oh, yes.
One of my favorites.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We had a Chris Van Allsburg conversation not too long ago.
As well.
That's from that.
No, Monsters Due on Maple Street's a Twilight Zone episode.
It is, but okay, so here's the connection there. The
house taking off.
Yes.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I think Stephen King did a short story based on the picture of the house taking off, and I think there's a reference to the monsters that do on Maple Street there.
Interesting.
It's an intricate connection. Yeah.
So Chris Van Allsburg, what about The Stranger? You gonna get that out? It's that time of year.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah.
That's an amazing one. That's the one where the guy gets hit by the car, right?
Yeah,
And they take him in. The seasons start to change.
No. So he gets hit by a car and they take him in, and the seasons don't change. It starts
Don't change, right?
Yeah,
right,
because
right.
he's Jack Frost.
He's Jack Frost.
Yeah. Spoiler alert for a children's book that was written.
To all you 8-year-olds out there watching the show, you just spoiled one of Chris Van Allsburg's seasonal classics, other than the Polar Express.
Yeah, the guy was prolific. Jumanji, Polar Express, Xanthura,
Wreck of the Zephyr.
Yeah, Mysteries of Harris Burdick, right?
Yeah.
Yep. All right, we'll get off our Chris Van Allsburg high horse because
we'll have him on Ravioli next.
Do you think he's still alive?
He is. He lives in Providence.
So why don't we talk it to him?
Oh boy, let's see. We gotta see if he likes ravioli. I'll go knock on his door. I'm not too far from him. Yeah, he's still around.
Bring your Cooge Marty with you.
Yep, that's a good one, man. You hit some classics right there.
Yeah.
Speaking of Lovecraft, I just watched Glorious. Have any of you seen Glorious yet?
I'm writing it down though.
I'm not a Lovecraft guy, really.
Are you a public bathroom guy? Because
that's a loaded question.
I see the pun. This is this is an H.P. Lovecraft. So it's a Cthulhu mythos story that takes place in a public bathroom. Talk about small set. Basically, that's it. Just came out on Shudder, and I'm gonna forget the guy's name. He was the guy from Oz with the eyes on the back of his head, and he does the insurance commercials.
What's the movie called?
Jay.
Yeah, Jay.
Not Jake. What is his name?
You're right. I think
he played Schillinger. Not J.K. Rowling. J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, J.K. Simmons.
He is the voice of the creature in the stall. It's it's an experience. Check it out. It's not scary.
What's it
at
called?
all. Glorious.
Mm.
It's a piece of work. It's a good piece of junk food.
So it's just like, I don't know. I feel like Cthulhu's overrated. Like, oh, it's like, okay, I see the cover. Yeah. I feel like it's just overdone. I'm just not a huge Cthulhu guy. Like, I've read Call of Cthulhu and I've read some H.P. Lovecraft, and it's not like bad, and like, I don't know, Cthulhu's okay, I guess. That's
Lovecraft is one of my absolute favorite. Maybe might be my absolute favorite, but I in a way I agree with you. Cthulhu, the Cthulhu part of Lovecraft is probably the least interesting part of Lovecraft to me. Is the great being underneath, imprisoned in the thing under the sea. That's probably not that I don't like it, because I do. It's just the least interesting of the kind of stuff that he wrote. That I think is adaptable. So,
Dunwich Horror. Oh, I love the feel of that. Dagon, that stuff. If you move beyond just that, the Call of Cthulhu, which I love the story, but there's some other stuff that touches upon some really cool themes. What's the one? The case of
Charles Dexter Ward.
yeah, Charles Dexter Ward, another big fan. I love that stuff. I and then there's the dream cycle stuff, which is on a whole other level and very, very interesting and colorful. You know,
I was a color out of space guy.
yes, yeah.
That's my and not the movie. I think the movie is terrible. It's
The
like
Nicolas
I felt like
Cage one?
I like the movie.
Yeah, no, I know people love the movie. I'm alone on this one, but I felt like Vito Corleone when they shoot up Sonny, and he's like,
oh, here we go.
What they did to my boy?
Yeah.
You know, that's what I feel like when I watch
Oh,
Color Out of Space.
Somebody spoke about Vito Corleone in the in the poster bell.
And the mozzarella
God.
mausoleum stuff's breaking.
Oh, it strikes back. It strikes back. That's hilarious. Yeah, no, I hear you. I like that movie a lot, but you know, the source material, that's a whole different story.
I agree, and I get people like it. To me, it was just like what made me want to throw. I mean, I cherish it so much that it made me want to throw my TV into the street.
Wow.
Sure.
I was just.
It's like Elvis shooting a TV, right? Isn't that like the
yeah.
And listen, I rarely get upset about when things are adapted or if somebody likes a movie or they don't. I don't care about most of that stuff. Only a couple times I can ever think of. One was the Preacher show. When they did the Preacher TV show.
Yeah.
Again, it made me so angry. Again, I wanted to shoot my TV, and then of course, Color Out of Space, but not much more. You know, I'm pretty open on when things get adapted. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I'm
usually.
the same. I don't care. If I generally don't watch a lot if it wasn't made via like 77 to 2003 is generally like my chunk of entertainment. But I mean, like, there's always the outliers, right? So you got Turbo Kid, Mandy, Hobo with a Shotgun, like House of the Devil's like fairly new. Like, you know, like I do watch some modern stuff, okay? But generally, it's the Frankenhookers and the Basket Cases and Toxic Avengers is like where I spend my time.
Yes. I you know, with Shudder, you guys have Shudder?
I do.
I know.
I should get it for free.
I know, seriously, they stole your name. I mean, I haven't really been struck by anything new lately. I still like to watch some stuff, but I watched Hell House the other day, and I thought that was a fun ride.
Is it newer?
Yeah, it's a found footage one where they're building a haunted house, and it's like possessed.
There's
some fun stuff on there.
I'm a found footage fan. You know, we talk about Cannibal Holocaust all the time.
VHS, yeah.
Like, oh yeah, did you ever start? You watched VHS, the new one, right?
The new one, loved it.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, there's another one. Those VHS movies, I like those a lot.
Yeah.
There's been some fantastic in the last like 10, 12 years for horror. There's been some fantastic films, like some really, really great new. I say newer again. Last 10, 12 years horror films
new to us.
Well, yeah, but then you can stack them up with some of the best. Some real game changers. Like, did either one of you see Baskin?
No.
So Baskin is a Turkish film, and it has quite a bit in common with Hellraiser, like the first Hellraiser.
Ooh.
But without giving anything away, again, it's Turkish, so it's all in subtitles. But you watch the first 15 minutes of it, and you're the one wanting to throw your TV into the street because it's garbage. You're like, what is happening? What am I watching? Why am I watching this? Why does everyone say this is amazing? But then you get to the exposition is out of the way, and you get to the actual part where it starts to become horrifying, and it's quite good. I wouldn't say it's good as Hellraiser because Hellraiser is one of the like 10 horror films that completely changed the genre.
Yeah.
But it's like it's surprisingly visceral and just very real. It's another one of those things that feels lived in.
Basket.
Basket.
It looks good.
Yeah. But be prepared for it's a sight, you know.
Yeah. Now Hellraiser. What's going on with Hellraiser? There's a series coming out.
Yeah, the series. I believe it's on Shudder though, right?
Or a movie, right? No, Hulu.
Oh, Hulu. I think I want to say it's a series. It looks good so far. Like the show and stuff, it's looking good. I'm excited for it.
Baskin. I want to check that out.
There was another one called I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying I was looking at the movie poster and we were talking about the Keep. It's got a very Keep looking poster and stuff, so I'm interested.
But it's a very different horror movie. But I really think, from what I'm hearing, I think you guys would enjoy it. It really surprised my wife and I when we watched it. There's another one called The Canal. It's an English horror film. It's like a haunting film, but it was another one that really surprised me because it's got very slow burn, so you might not like it, Brian.
No,
but
my God. A British slow burn? That's two red flags.
Yeah.
USA!
I just don't want to hear it's like somebody knocking. It's the ghost. It's like, oi, bruv, you there, mate?
Nothing like that. No.
No, I know.
But the last, I don't know, the last couple scenes are, when it comes to horror movies, or especially supernatural or haunting kind of movies, it was really just this side of terrifying. Again, if you're not a fan of slow burns or movies that can really move at a slow pace before exploding into something cool, then you should probably skip it. But if that's your thing and you really like supernatural horror, like ghost story kind of stuff, then it's definitely worth checking out. The Canal, that's what it's called.
The Canal. I'm writing this down on my phone. All right.
The Canal, 2014.
Yeah, and listen, I could go on and on
it.
and on about all these films. Creep and the Last Shift, Southbound, all these cool.
Southbound
films.
has the pentagram.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to finish that one up. That was cool.
There's a couple, so it's one of those vignettes.
Yeah.
And half of it is terrible, but then there are a couple of them that are pretty good. So,
I like the return of the anthology.
Yeah.
Speaking of horror, Hammer movies, they had some good anthologies, but that seems to be coming back. A bunch of short, short movies within movies. I like that.
Did you watch ABCs of Death?
I did.
What is it?
ABCs of Death?
No, I haven't seen that yet. It's on my, recommended for you.
Those are like 2-minute movies.
Yeah, I like stuff like
it's
that.
blazing fast. It's like a grindcore album. It's
just
burning through it, and it's phenomenal. I haven't seen the second one yet, but ABCs of Death I liked a lot, the first one.
So how did we get here? What was your number 4? Evil Dead 2.
No, it was The Thing.
The Thing.
No.
Oh, yeah, that was.
Favorite horror
Oh my God!
It was Evil Dead 2. You asked him what his favorite horror movie film of all time was.
Yeah.
That was The Thing.
All right,
yeah,
back on track.
So what's your number 3?
What did I write down? Oh, Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh yeah, that's a beauty.
All right, so I'm a huge Killer Clowns fan. With that being said, Levi, how do you feel about Killer Clowns is all over the place at Spirit and all this stuff and how is this resurgence of this film and they're making a video game about it? What happened, Levi? How did Killer Clowns from Outer Space become so popular?
I'll tell you what happened. Spirit Halloween happened.
Oh, they got the license. You think it's a licensing thing?
Yeah, you can go to Spirit Halloween and get all of the clowns and full animatronic.
Yeah, they got
crazy clowns. You can get a
the ray gun.
The ray gun that shoots the fake
cotton candy.
Cotton candy. Yeah. I mean, and then you've got everybody has access to it. The people who are our age can remember getting that for the VHS store or watching it on HBO or on Joe Bob or whatever,
Oh yeah.
That it's just so bonkers, so insane, so crazy, and it's so much better than it has any right to be.
Yeah, absolutely. So
it should be terrible, but it's not.
Yeah.
That scene where the clown has the cop sitting on his lap and he's using him as a puppet, that's legit horrifying.
Yes, that is creepy, man.
Yeah,
it comes out of nowhere from this crazy, silly movie with popcorn attacking people, and you've got shadow puppets and the whole 9 yards, to this really creepy, grisly scene.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like Roadhouse. It all goes back when he rips out the throat. You're like, what am I watching all of a sudden? The tone shifts.
Yeah, the tone shifts in Roadhouse pretty intense. That last final fight. Let's get back to Killer Clowns, Joey, please.
So Killer Clowns, here's the thing. We take, I mean, all right, you always had it, right?
Yes.
But the clown thing wasn't a thing until
I'd say Killer
ICP.
Killer Clowns came out before it, though, right?
I don't think so.
I think
Not
Killer
that-
Clowns is an '80s movie, though, right? Wasn't it like?
Well, it was in the late '80s. I think Killer Clowns may have preceded it by like a year or two. I'm not sure.
What I'm saying, we weren't saturated with
Right.
scary clowns. Like
I
the
understand.
Halloween shop didn't have, it wasn't overflowing with clowns, you know, and like the clowns on the exits in New Jersey popping out, you know, all that stuff. That became a thing, and ICP and all that with the wicked clowns. But like clowns back then, we weren't scared by that stuff. That was kind of relegated to old Twilight Zone episodes and stuff like that. Clowns didn't equal horror immediately.
Killer Clowns 88, it 90 even. So
Yeah, there you go. So that as a genre, the clown, I mean, everybody's scared of, not everybody, but clowns is a real fear. But like in media, the clowns didn't automatically equal scary movie. So they kind of planted that seed there.
I'd be curious to see like what the first movie. I mean, like Pee-wee's Big Adventure has that clown
Yeah, you're right,
animatronic
absolutely.
in the beginning, and that's freaky. And they make it very, and they make
Yeah. The chain where you can see the chain coming out of the bottom of the
yeah,
I love
totally.
that. Yeah.
And then my wife said, because I said, "Oh, Levi's coming on," and me and Joey are gonna. She's like, "It's gonna be a loud one," and she's like, "Oh, don't do any Pee Wee Herman." So my bike! Someone stole my bike!
There's something like to share with the rest of us, amazing Larry.
So I just had to shout. So hopefully she heard me in the room putting the kids to sleep. Now she's gonna
There you go.
text me and be like, "Excuse me, I told you not to do Pee Wee Herman tonight," and I said,
Oh, Poltergeist. Poltergeist is the other scariest clown ever on film.
Yeah.
"Oh,
Yeah,
yeah."
absolutely.
See, so I would say Poltergeist might have done it.
I mean, you can't.
Indeed.
That's a terrifying.
I'm waiting for the message. Maybe she's asleep.
What
My parents are in the other room too, and they're probably like, oh, "This kid." They're probably just like,
did we do?
Where did
Where
we
did
go wrong? He's like, he's 40 years old, talking to two other guys and doing Pee Wee Herman impressions. Like, it's like, yeah, but Mom, we're famous on the internet. People are watching. This is comedy gold.
10 people are watching.
Tens of people. Hey, I'll have you know that's very. I'm proud of our 10 people.
Absolutely.
They are sticking through it.
Quality over quantity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
but
take
no,
that any
like
day.
that to me. That's why Killer Clowns was such an experience, because that's when they. I mean, that's a mishmash too. You got horror, they're alien clowns. Like the whole concept behind it is just.
It's
I
very
just-
it's very Mars Attacks.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That's I like that. Yep, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it's got that vibe.
Small town, kind
Blob.
of a 1950s feel. The Blob,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Terror comes to suburban
Well, I mean,
America.
essentially, it is the Blob, like same thing, right? Like
Yeah,
the
it
Blob
is
was
very
like,
similar.
Yeah, like from space.
But I mean, you got to think about the climate, like the climate of horror during that time. You said 88 was that was the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Everything was slashers, everything
Yeah.
was Freddy Krueger and Jason
Right.
Voorhees, and Fangoria was full of like everything was a slasher.
Yeah.
But to have the balls to put out a movie about alien clowns who come down in a spaceship that looks like a big top,
Yeah.
and they're harvesting people and putting them in giant cotton candy cocoons.
Mhm. And sucking
Um,
with silly straws, sucking
yeah,
the
and
blood
it's
out with
just-
silly straws.
It's just so bananas and so out of left field that you can't help but respect it. Respect the Balls and the Chiodo brothers for even like doing that. Like
Fantastic.
what an insane, crazy film they made.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, and it's just such a weird movie to have this Spirit Halloween resurgence too, though, right?
Yeah.
It happens. This is strange stuff, man.
I think an amazing soundtrack, and I think that soundtrack was just re-released on vinyl.
Oh, they all are. There's a company that is re-releasing horror movie vinyls.
Yeah.
I love that Terror Vision vinyl. That Terror Vision.
Yeah.
It was such a great little.
Well,
Such a
in
crazy
our,
little.
in our theme to this show that was written by Mr. Joey Royale, he talks about ninjas and monsters and rock and roll, and then when it says monsters, it's the TerrorVision monster that shows up.
It's the monster.
in our and Ghoulies is the rock and roll part, and then Munchie. If you ever see the movie Munchie,
Oh yeah.
yeah, Munchie and Mac and me, Munchie and Mandy is like our like pretty much.
That's the stew. That's the stew.
That makes up this show. But Mac and me and Munchie are pretty much the same. It's that E.T.
Bootleg.
Yeah, kids with the pet alien, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, Mac and Me is something you put it on when you're sitting around with your buddies and you want to have a great drinking game. You know, every time Mac shares a special moment with that boy. You know, there's like the kid from Over the Top or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Is it the same kid?
I don't know. Or you could do a drinking game anytime there's a McDonald's product placement. You get drunk in the first like 20 minutes. Well, because McDonald's
one of the greatest scenes in any movie ever made is when the kid, that horrible, when he's rolling down into the quarry in the wheelchair. Yeah. Every time, what's his name is on. I watch a compilation of it.
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd. Anytime Paul Rudd's on Conan O'Brien, they show that clip over and over again. It's hilarious. Who thought that was a good idea?
And then when Joey was at my house, I was showing off my VHSs, and I was like, "Hey, look, here's my Mac and Me." And he's like, "Oh, cool." And I said, "Here's my second copy of Mac and Me." I love that movie that much.
It's a great one.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a killer clowns, man.
You're gonna end up with that Jerry Maguire pyramid in the desert.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Guys.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's insane. Holy cow.
So that was number 3.
3.
What's your
number 3?
What's your 2?
So I was originally gonna say Samurai Cop.
Excellent movie.
But since we're on a horror movie kick,
bingo,
I changed my answer to Night of the Creeps.
Oh, absolutely. Right there. Chef's kiss. That's my chef's kiss of the night. Yeah, dude. Night of the Creeps is awesome.
2 words. Thrill me.
Yeah. It's that movie is
I mean, like, it's got
perfect to me in every way.
Well, it's got the same, like, we literally just talked about small towns, aliens,
invasion.
Alien invasion, like with the slugs.
It's 5 different kind of genres of movies all drafted in one, because it starts out as like a romance period film in the 50s.
Yeah. Technically doesn't it?
No, sorry, sci-fi first. Sci-fi first.
Yeah.
Then to the period piece, and then it's like a slasher horror movie. And like
body
then
horror
it becomes
too.
a detective story. Yeah, it becomes like a quick detective story, and then boom, you have it goes right into the 80s schlock of high school students or college students, and then all these slugs that are rolling around on the floor. There's the friend who has the disability.
He's
there's
in the wheelchair.
The girl who's incredibly hot, but she still hangs out with these dorks. You know, like it's just got everything. And then of course, Thrill Me. You know, it's got the greatest detective in a horror movie ever.
There's a subgenre, and you're kind of pinpointing this theme here, Levi. Like, and it's something I love. It's that 80s, early 90s period piece where it's like somewhere in the fake 1950s or 1960s suburbia. You got Killer Clowns. You have the remake of The Blob. That reminds me a lot about that. It's that, like, Brian, as you said, that Mars Attacks kind of shtick to it.
Yeah.
It's like very Cramps-ish, very Misfits, where you probably saw a couple of these films, just parts of them, and they smashed them together. I love that. It's very Wax Packs for me, man. It's like, I don't know, there's just something like, that's why I love that movie Popcorn so much.
Oh yeah, Popcorn's phenomenal. Good news, girls, your dates are here. Bad news is they're dead. And a flamethrower fighting zombies.
Yeah, and remember it was they kind of flipped the script there. They had the damsel in distress was the dude.
Yeah.
They had and she was the one with the flamethrower roasting these little alien leeches that turn people into zombies.
We are big Tom Atkins fans, though.
Yes, absolutely.
The best.
Yeah.
Between that and Season of the Witch, come on.
Absolutely, man.
Joey's a big Season of the Witch fan.
Slow burn. Love it.
So yeah.
I just put a huge Easter egg for season of the Witch in the this Halloween adventure I wrote for Frog God Games.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so anybody who picks up that module, it's coming out next week. But anybody who picks up that module, look for the Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. There's a ton of homages in there because it's a Halloween module that I wrote.
Yeah, it's a Levi
actually,
thing, so of course.
Me and John McGuire wrote together. Don't want to leave him out; he's a huge part of it.
He'll
But
be on
he's
the
the
next
only.
episode.
Yeah, no, and he's the only guy that I know that loves Halloween more than I do. So he, between the two of us, we've packed that thing full of Easter eggs for Halloween and Halloween movies.
What's that going to be called? Can you share that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's big promotion going out. It's everywhere, Joey. Where you been? Oh, you don't go on the internet. I forgot.
I'm a Luddite.
No, it's called Heresy of Rot. And it's fantasy meets horror, but it's the most Halloween-y thing I've ever written. It's not just a horror tale. It really, there are black cats and skeletons and pumpkins and things like that. But the Frog God Games is doing it as a double creature feature with another module that my friend Casey wrote called Fungus God from Outer Space.
So, all right,
yeah,
that's going in. Yep. Love it.
That tells you how much I love Season of the Witch.
Yeah. Yep. That's a special one. Night of the Creeps I saw on TV. I remember that specifically. I saw Night of the Creeps and actually Season of the Witch on TV. Those are things I did not rent or see in the theater. Those are one of those wonderful afternoons on the USA Network.
The guy
It was USA Up All Night for me.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. I'm a huge USA Up All Night.
Oh yeah.
Sorority Babe Slime Bolorama, Bri.
Oh,
Yeah, I
started.
have it. I have it. That's a Lena Quigley movie too. I have it on our Popcorn Primavera.
Popcorn Primavera, yeah, absolutely.
So Levi, we have this show that we've done once so far that we got to get it. So essentially, it's a Zoom meeting with a bunch of people. Like we share the link with like the Neon Maniacs and stuff. And then I have the Popcorn Primavera 20. I roll a D20 and we watch that movie.
Nice.
And then we actually watched what's it called? What was the movie called? Megaforce.
Megaforce.
Yeah, we watched
that.
The Megaforce was our first movie, and then
Deeds, not words.
Yeah, we have.
Yes, deeds, not words.
It was phenomenal. Because
I haven't seen that movie since I was not even a teenager. Before I was a teenager, amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome. It holds up.
Yeah, USA Up All Night. Rhonda Shear was the best.
Rhonda Shear, yeah, absolutely. And then of course Gilbert took over.
Yeah. Gilbert was good, but I mean Rhonda Shear is
Rhonda Shear was the it. I mean, USA Network as a kid hit me so hard. Levi, were you familiar with Commander USA's groovy movies?
No. That sounds vaguely familiar, but I do remember Gilbert though, only because he's such a huge horror fan.
He was big Wolfman fan, right? Like he knew his stuff.
So he knew all he was big on all the Universal monster stuff and all the early 50s, 60s and back. He was just he had his own podcast called Gilbert Godfrey's Amazing Colossal Podcast. You can still find it. He's got he'll have Rick Baker on and Kirk Hammett and all these other people who are true horror aficionados.
Rick Baker, Monster Maker.
Yeah.
Remember you guys remember the horror awards? There was wasn't that was awesome. He told you I think it was Rick Baker or Tom Savini that told you how to make fangs using Starburst. You'd make the gums out of the pink. And that was really cool. Yeah, you know what? Skunkworks has a good point here. Said Rhonda was Friday, Gilbert was Saturday, maybe. There might have been a couple of different programs, but yeah, Commander USA had the groovy movies on Saturday afternoons, and he had a mask and a mustache. So basically, I stole everything.
Well, that's the Halloween supplement I did for Neon Lords last year. That drives heavily in it's Rhonda Fear is in it instead of Rhonda Shear.
Man, I what a time.
And then you can YouTube has all of the bumpers with her on it.
The bumpers, absolutely.
Oh my gosh, she's phenomenal.
They're
Still
great.
To this day,
absolutely.
Fantastic.
Yep. Yep, very cool stuff.
Well, hey, how about some love for Samurai Cop though? That one didn't make the cut, but have either of you ever seen it?
Bingo.
This guy right here.
Yeah.
It's
Of
the movie
course.
that I like. That when people ask me like, "What's your favorite bad movie?" I almost always say Samurai Cop.
You like Samurai Cop more than Troll 2?
Well, it's funny you should say Troll 2.
Segue.
Because
Oh, is that
might
number
be
one?
my number one pick.
Oh, welcome to Nilbog.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I have it on Blu-ray. That's how much I love that movie. I love it unironically. It is.
No, that's the thing, man. That's another one.
An actual good movie.
I like it. I like to watch that.
Yeah. Did you see the documentary on the making of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just a great movie. Like, it had heart. Like, they went in with all the best intentions.
That's the thing, man. They had great intentions. They poured their heart and soul into it. Did it come out a little funny? Yeah, but that's cool. That's cool.
It is cool.
Because that doesn't happen anymore. Not to be always stuck in the past, guys, because I know I always come across that way. But I love this stuff because you don't see this stuff anymore. Can this stuff even happen anymore? You know?
That's a good question. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Because, it's hard because, the internet, I think, has taken away that era of mystery and, making a 35 millimeter movie.
Yeah.
I mean, the digital age killed it, right?
So, if you were going to make a movie on film, you had to invest money into it.
Right.
A lot of people had to invest money into it. So there was a lot of things on the table.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to get something weird like that done, you had to be nuts. You really had to be obsessed and push something like that. I don't know. I don't know if that can happen anymore.
I think it does, though. I'm sure Kickstarter's full of horror movies and stuff, right? People trying to. I think it does. I just don't think they just have the sensationalism anymore that they did back then. VHS rentals is what really, I think, really pushed a lot of these movies too.
Well, that's the thing. The vehicle in which these things were distributed. So YouTube or whatever online, we're just so overwhelmed with the quantity that you might not, something like Troll 2, maybe if it came out now, wouldn't show up on it wouldn't be as easy to show up on radar as back then, where they got a decent a rental distribution deal, so you could hit small towns. I don't know.
Well, I mean, with a movie like Troll 2, I think we could probably all agree that what makes it so special is they all thought they were making this great movie.
Yeah, the dentist. Going.
They all thought they were making the next.
And they were gonna be movie
thing.
stars.
Yeah, but so do you get a lot of that now? No, but there have been movies like that. Like The Room, same deal. He thought he was making the greatest movie ever.
That was brought up. We just had a huge Troll 2 conversation when Joey was here, and The Room got brought up, and it's speculated that perhaps that he tried to make a Troll 2, that he tried to make it like that. I don't know. It's he could have been with all best intentions. Nobody knows because the guy says he's 32 and he looks like he's a crypt keeper.
I love that.
Yeah, and
that's the best thing of the whole thing.
American, and he's clearly not American, right?
No.
So who knows? He says,
I'm done with this world.
Yeah.
Birdemic, Shock and Awe. I don't know if you've ever seen that. That was another one where the guy who making it thought he was making the next Hitchcock, The Birds. Classic, he was so convinced. And then when people were doubting him, he literally rented a hearse and put fake birds all over it and blood splatters, and then had drove around Cannes with a loudspeaker that was just awesome. Shouting out bird sounds. So it's these things can still happen, but few and far between.
Yeah, I think plus audiences are a little smarter, not smarter, but more savvy with their entertainment, because we're in the world of the MCU,
yeah,
that's a lot of it to do. I think too is
I think you're more likely to get a movie that knows that the plot is bad and is trying to make you think while winking at you, make you think that it's bad. Like, what was that movie? The dude, the Conjuring guy, the James Wan. He had this movie, Malevolent or Mal.
Oh yeah.
With the face in the back of the head.
Yeah.
Like, that was clearly like this is a dude who's made some legit horror movies, some like really, really good, legit jump scare horror movies. And he put that out, but I think nobody got the joke but him.
Yeah.
You know, like, especially the studio, because they marketed it as one thing, but it was a completely different thing. But people who are like diehard horror fans are watching that going, hey, you know what? Like, I kind of see what he's doing here. Like, he's going so over the top with a wink and a nod to the audience that if you can suspend you're wanting to see these, you know, a James Wan movie, then this might be entertaining,
right?
You know, I mean, or maybe not. Maybe I'm way off base, but that's kind of how I took it.
Skunkworks brings up a really good point that I want to read out. There was a brand new massive demand for new and weird media. These movies were trying to meet the demand as quick as possible. I think you take that with the physical product or the process of having to go to a store to rent the movie, bring the movie home, and then you're stuck with the movie. So then you're going to sit and you're going to watch it. You don't have literally thousands of other choices on a streaming service. You got a box and you got a VCR and you got 2 days to watch this thing. You know?
Good point.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a nihilist. There's great stuff coming out all the time, but just that experience, like how, like that like Troll 2 is a cultural phenomenon.
Yes.
You know, as crazy as that sounds, it's like, you're right. It's become a cultural phenomenon.
All right, so VHS trash. We got Levi's top 6. Joey, toss me out some of your VHS trash picks.
Video Dead.
Okay, yeah.
I love Video Dead.
I try to get that
really
on VHS.
Yeah, that's a tough one, huh?
It's expensive. It's an expensive tape for sure, yeah.
So there's that. There is, like, I think I brought this up before. One of the first rentals I remember my family renting was, I believe it was Grizzly.
That's phenomenal artwork on that cover.
Yeah. I mean, that's why my dad got it. Like, that's like that. You get that.
Where all the budget went.
Yeah. Legend of Boggy Creek.
Oh, Foggy Bob.
Foggy Bob.
So I got a story about that. So I worked at Zoomies, right? Like the skateboard shops in the mall back in my early years of life before my back was destroyed, you know, so I can't skateboard really anymore. And it was early in the morning, and this guy was like, came in weirdo, right? He had a FYE bag. And me and my buddy Paul were working, and we're like, you know, you got chit chat with the guy. He's like, oh, you know, it's a good day. Came out the FYE, got a copy of the old Legend of Foggy Bob right here. So like it stuck with me, so we always call him Foggy Bob.
That's great. The VHS trash. That's like, so there's like Grizzly. There's that. I guess if we're in the horror zone, what I got to think of. Children shouldn't play with dead things. That always comes up when I bring up old horror movies. That one really gets me.
Yeah.
And it's definitely not trash, but I rented it a lot when I was at my grandparents because my parents would never let me get it. And that's Children of the Corn.
See, I'm not a Children of the Corn fan at all. I actually despise it. I'm not into it. Like the children, I don't know, it's stupid to me. Just punch the kids in the face. It's like child's play.
That's another thing where the source material is really cool. The short story. But I mean, I could go on for hours, but just off the top of my head, those are a couple of just some rentals that I really liked as a kid.
Yeah. I mean, you got, here's mine, Basket Case. Chopping Mall.
Yep.
Chopping Mall. I had that poster
You had the poster.
The Chopping Mall poster. That's awesome.
I did on my wall with all those other ones from the video store. That was where I got it.
There it is, right there.
Like copy. Blood Diner, Toxic Avenger, Frankenhooker, The Stuff, Meet the Feebles, Faces of Death. I'm just going off what's on my desk.
Faces of Death. Yeah, definitely.
Meet the Feebles that's a deep cut, man.
Oh yeah, we've. I have not watched Meet the Feebles yet.
You've never seen Meet the Feebles?
No, man. You've talked about it. I know how extreme it is. I have not seen Meet the Feebles yet.
Yeah. So I've recently just watched it, and it still holds up.
It's a deep cut, man. I was not expecting to hear that movie tonight.
When you're on Ravioli for Randy, we're the deepest of cuts. I'm a huge Peter Jackson guy, pre Lord of the Rings. You know,
Sure.
Like Dead Alive. That's another good VHS.
Yeah, Dead Alive is great.
VHS trash movie.
It's actually on my list, but I wrote the top 10.
So give us what else you got.
So I had Dead Alive. I had Master of the Flying Guillotine.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
I had Escape from New York.
Yeah.
And
I mean, is that video trash though? I mean, John Carpenter, he gets a pass.
No, I mean, I love that movie.
Oh, I love it too. No, every movie I've said are some of my. I'm a video trash.
Brian has an Escape from New York tattoo.
Yeah, so
he loves the movie.
Yeah.
And the stuff.
The stuff is awesome.
The stuff is so good.
Stuff is so good. I'm definitely watching that this Halloween
You
season. The stuff is amazing.
I got a good cover of it too. Let me pull out my copy. That's a phenomenal.
That's the best one.
Yeah.
That's the original. Yeah.
Yeah. New World Video too on it. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, what were we talking about? You got me off topic, Joey.
No, you were just talking about your top 6.
Oh yeah. I don't.
Favorites.
I couldn't even. I don't know. My back pain medicine's kicking in, so I gotta kind of just focus up here.
I don't want to derail the conversation, but Levi, I want to ask you about this too. Tell us about the Independent Publishers Union.
It's people ask me about this all the time, but it's really just 5 dudes who we're all kind of in the independent publishing scene. We all making our own stuff. You got Jeff Talanian doing his Astonishing Swordsman and Sorcerers of Hyperborea. There's Jim Wampler. He does all the Meet and Crawl classics.
Scientific Barbarian.
He wrote, but he did Scientific Barbarian and a bunch of his own stuff. Ian McGarty and Rocky Gardner. They're the Silver Boulets. They're doing Fantastic Geographic and just a handful of modules and stuff. And then Skeeter Green. He does.
Skeeter Green.
He's the Crypt of the Science Wizard, and he's been doing some zines recently, and he's delving into the MCC and DCC material quite a bit. And then myself, so we go to cons together, we vend together, we split prices, we look out for each other. If I need to know the tone of something, I think, Skeeter would be a good guy for this, or Jim would be a good guy for that. If I have a question about a retailer, I'll call Jeff. Be like, hey man, what's it? So it's really just 5 friends.
Yeah, that's cool. That's very cool. I like that idea.
And we just got each other's backs, and we're just it's hard enough out here by yourself as an independent publisher, or just somebody who's just trying to write cool stuff that's genuine. It's hard enough as it is, but it's easier with friends. So that's really what it is, and nothing more. It's not like I don't like the name Independent Publishers Union. I preferred Legion of Doom.
Yeah, you're more along my style for sure on that.
Yeah, I kind of like you remember the skull face
absolutely
rising up out of the swamp.
Man,
that's more us than a.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice.
I was always mad they never came out with superpowers figures for the bad guys like that.
Well, they had some good ones. They had Brainiac. He was a good one.
Did they do Darkseid?
Brainiac, the metal, but they came out with the metal Brainiac, which I loved. The chrome one. He was great, but I always wanted a Black Manta, or a Bizarro.
Sick with that.
Can you imagine?
Or a Solomon Grundy. I was a big fan of him too. The zombie.
He's an interesting character. I'm not a DC
Bizarro
guy,
was always my favorite.
Yeah,
Bizarro too.
I mean, Bizarro, anything is phenomenal, right? That's such a great concept. That would be a sick adventure, a Bizarro party of the party.
Yeah, that would be cool. I like that idea. If somebody dubs Wu-Tang songs over superpowers cartoons, and it's really well done.
I mean, that's the mirror of opposition. You get a Bizarro.
Yeah, so that's like mirrored Link and Zelda. You have to fight yourself. Like a lot of video games, you have to always fight yourself. Like,
so on that note too, Brian, I was telling you before the show started, 50th anniversary Mego re-release in the boxes of the world's greatest superheroes. You got Superman, Batman, Robin, Shazam, The Flash, and they even came out with Green Lantern, which wasn't original. But Mego is putting them out, and they look just like the originals, oven mitts and all. So I'm definitely going to pick up Aquaman.
There's only one Mego you need, Joey.
Which Mego is that?
Well, that's the Toxic Avenger.
There he is.
Only Mego
in all of his glory.
That's it. Well, all you need. And then for Levi, too, in front of him sits my War Duke.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, there he is.
Yeah, I know Levi does the War. He's the, like, did you invent War Duke Wednesday?
I wish I could say I did, but I didn't. I saw it on Instagram 5 or 6 years ago.
I'd say
I don't remember.
You're the guy. You invented it.
I think that I've made the most posts for War Duke Wednesday, but I didn't invent it. No.
It came from Planet X. I love it. It's probably one of my favorite things on Instagram. Dude, that's a lot of work.
Yeah,
how do you blasting stuff? How do you do that, man?
That's
when you're sitting in traffic, or when you have moments, it's the same. It's just like I've banked a lot of content over the years too, in other places and other forums and stuff, and I'll go and be like, oh yeah, that was pretty funny when I did that 7 years ago. Let me take it now and just write it better and add a better picture, But it really just comes down. It's like a flow of thought. It's like it's just what's on my mind, whatever during that day. I might be thinking about Black Sabbath, or I might have a 4-paragraph diatribe about Black Manta. You just never know. I might go into those old Crestwood books, which I have before.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like that. What you are doing is awesome. It really triggers things for me in a positive way, and it makes me go down rabbit holes. Thanks for putting so much time and work into that. It's pretty cool.
It really comes down to just the same thing we were talking about before, consistency.
Yeah.
You just if you do it every day, then you create something. Something happens. People can see that you're being genuine. They can see that you're being that you're not just like it. At its heart, it's a pop culture page.
Right.
But I also sell games. So like every 40th post, I'll post something about a game that I'm doing. So I think that resonates with folks because they realize I'm like not trying to shove anything down their throat. If you like the kind of stuff that I like, here it is.
Exactly. It's like a clubhouse.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, that's why we call it the Neon Maniacs Clubhouse, Joey.
Exactly.
It's the same thing.
One of us. Yeah. That's awesome.
Do you feel better to know that your hero is just like us?
Like they always say, don't meet your idols, but I met one and I love him.
That's you got to put that like on the back of a Planet X book, like.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't wrapped on Phylactery Omnibus yet, so that might have to go on the back.
All right, awesome. Yeah, that's going to be cool.
Yeah, there's a quote on the back of that. It says, "The Phylactery Omnibus is to RPGs." Is to zines what G.G. Allen is to underwear. I think it's something like that.
What is it? Is it hardback?
Soiled underwear. Yeah.
Is the Omnibus going to be hardback?
It is hardback. Yeah.
Did you kickstart it?
I did. Yeah, back 5 months ago or so. Yeah.
I don't think I backed it. I would.
No, there'll be a couple copies left over, so you want to grab one.
Yeah. I definitely want to. How did that one skip? How did I not see it?
I'm just always putting out something every couple months. I got a new one, so it's no big deal.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, you do pretty well with your Kickstarters,
well,
right?
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's depending on what real good is. I mean, like Exalted Funeral's doing like $500,000 on their Kickstarters. So I'm doing exactly where I should be at this point. I think.
Exactly.
And honestly, like I comparison is a thief of joy. So I'm not thinking about really what everybody else is making.
Right.
I'm just like, I'm finally being able to put out stuff that I would play, the things that I like.
Yeah.
And it just makes me like over the moon happy that other people think it's cool.
Yeah.
And, they dig the same sort of stuff that I do. I mean, that in itself is like this huge reward. It's like validation.
It is definitely, man. You got great momentum, and you're, like I said at the beginning of the show, you're coming out with stuff where you can just feel the joy coming out. This is a guy who loves what he's doing. He's making it for himself, and it's awesome that other people are jumping in on that boat as well. So that's really cool. And like that's why I asked you about. That's why I said about you doing the Kickstarter. You're doing that independently. You're not latching onto something big, or getting on the Exalted Funeral train. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's a Levi thing. He's putting it out. He's kickstarting it. He's getting it printed, and it's going to end up at your doorstep, and it's going to be cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I have a pretty good reputation for delivering on time, and I've only had a couple things go over, and that was just by like a month or two.
Yeah, that's
really
awesome.
because
that's good.
The distribution and paper costs, and it doesn't always go your way with the printer. So
yeah. So when they come about, please let me know, because I didn't realize that it was available. I was too wrapped up in my own stuff to look at everybody else's Kickstarter.
It's the same, man. It's the same way with me. Sometimes I find, I found what was it, Troika, like 2 years after it came out. I was like, where has this been all my life?
Yeah.
But some stuff I see right away, and I'm able to jump in on it. And there've been quite I'm really into zines. Like really, I think zines are like this pure expression of an idea that you can get down. It's like this razor sharp, laser focused idea that you can get down in the small format, and there's not a whole lot of risk in doing it, because they're so small and they're fairly cheap to make. So when you can do that, I just think that's a really good thing. Like,
I can't do it.
Sure you can.
No, this
and you can sneeze out of a zine in like 2 seconds.
No, because it'd be too big.
He goes big. I can't go big.
Oh, I know.
This next book, this reprint of it's already up to almost 300 pages already of just added content for this Kickstarter.
But that's cool too, though, man. Like see, like, do you remember when you got the first, like the copy back, like the, what do they call it when the publisher sends you a copy?
Yeah, like the proof.
The proof. You remember you got your first proof copy for Neon Lords, and you were like, holy shit, I did it. This came straight from my brain, and now it's in a book, and I can hold it in my hand, and it's a real thing. Like, wasn't that such like a cool feeling to you? I know it was for me.
Yeah. It was all right.
Really? Oh man.
I don't know. It was cool. I thought, like, everyone says that, right? But I thought it was gonna feel cooler. But I mean, like, I think the biggest problem was that, like, it came on 2 pallets to my house, and it was in the snow, and the guy hit it with the forklift, so the whole box was already ripped up of copies. And then he left them on the side of the road because he couldn't get the truck into the driveway. So I had to. This is when I lived on post too, Joey. So it was different. And then I had to hand carry all the boxes into my garage, and then finally open them in January. Wow. So I think I was already miserable. So I was like, you know what? F this book. Like, I'm over it already. But no, it was cool. It was cool, especially because I didn't get artist. I got digital proofs because, like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
When I got that first proof for my very first thing, like, I just looked at the envelope for like 5 minutes. I was like, I'm gonna open this up, and like, this is like the realization of like all the stuff I've had floating around in my head. I'd never done it before, never been part of that process before. And to finally open it up and realize, okay, I did it. There aren't any mistakes. There aren't, not any big mistakes.
No,
but this is the thing. It came straight from my brain, and now I'm holding it by hand. It was a very cool moment for me.
I lay them all out sometimes. I lay my stuff out sometimes because you gotta give yourself a pat on the back sometimes, so you don't get your head too big. But you're like, I made this. I followed through. This is in my brain, and isn't it cool that a couple people bought it and like it as well? That's okay to do that. You got to look at it.
Yeah, let's pat ourselves on the back. How many people could say they like have a book out, right? So like, there you go. Congrats to Levi and congrats to Joe. We did it, boys.
No, but it's good. This is for everybody out there too. You, like Levi said, you can do it. It only takes, a couple of pages. Put some time into
showing up.
And don't worry about if somebody's going to buy it or not.
Yeah, don't worry about that. You can do it. It's all up to you, okay?
No, I was at Justin Soros's house from Severed Books a couple days ago, and so I go down the steps, and it's been this dungeon of bookshelves and original art and big beautiful table with minis and stuff on it. And the very first thing I noticed, I'm looking over his bookshelves, is right there in front of like the AD&D core books, Darkest Dungeon is just sitting right there. It's just the little pamphlet is just is sitting right there. And I was like, hey, I know that guy.
My Darkest Dungeon. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh wow, you got it on that too, huh? Isn't that cool? We had a little moment, little conversation about it, about how cool that was. I was like, did you see one of us? How about Ninja City? Did you see that?
I'm blushing over here.
I got my.
No, but seriously, that was a real thing that happened, and it was just like, it's the old independent publishing scene. There's a lot of us, but it sure is a small. It's big, but it's also small. Everybody seems to know everybody else. So
we're all in the same boat. We're all going up against the same things. We're all spending each other's money. I mean, it's great. I like it. It's like a money laundering thing. It's like, all right, I'm going to buy this guy's. I know he's going to buy. It's nice. It's like, it's a community. It really is a community.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
And then
I don't find very many people who are in that whole, independent publishing community or zine community who are jerks.
No, you're right.
Or that talk about things like, oh, market share. I can't support this guy. He's eating up my market share.
No, you're right.
Well,
there's enough for everybody.
Yeah, there's enough for everybody, and I feel like everybody has like a nice little niche, right? Like I feel like it works out pretty well. Like everybody Levi has like helped me instrumentally like along. Like I had a few questions about like publishing. Levi like was right there. He's like, bro, I got you. Got me involved with like his like I don't remember her name, but like person that does all that stuff, and helped me with a publishing question I had, and it was fantastic, and then that's why like Levi helping me is how like I go out and I help other people,
yeah, man.
Yeah, it's like
and the door was open for me the same way, just by somebody being cool. So it happened to me the same way.
Yeah, so it's fantastic. So, and then like that knowledge I got, now that I got it from Levi, I know, and I can help other people that like are trying to get to that next level.
That's part of it. Passing the torch to somebody else and saying, all right, it's your turn. It's like we all have your back. This has become a very cool community, and there's not, like Levi said, cutting into people's shares or anything like that.
No,
we're all weirdos. We'd all hang out together if we were all in the same cul-de-sac. We'd be playing with the same action figures. That's what we're doing, kind of.
Yeah, and then
that's what's so great about communities like DCC. That kind of community is the same deal, only even better, like even hyper, even more so, because I've never met somebody at a DC at a con game or that had anything to do with DCC that was a jerk. They've all been cool, every single one, all the way up to like the guys, all the way up to the top guys. They're all, to the last one of them, they've all been super cool. So I think that's a very similar thing we have going on in independent publishing, and especially in like the zine scene.
Yep,
same thing.
The zine scene is awesome. It's still thriving, still thriving.
Yeah,
I think I was so impressed. You should, man. I mean, see, this is the thing, Bri. You have 20 zines already written. It's just putting them in one small thing.
Yeah, I have a problem with the format too. I like 8.5 by 11 all day, every day.
Yeah, I like I like stuff that you can put in a jean jacket.
Of course you do. Listening to Bruce Springsteen with a handkerchief hanging out your back pocket and a zine in the other pocket.
Hey man,
listen,
you roll dice.
You can make a zine like so easy and so fast. I mean, honestly, if you already have some material, you got to think like, let's just say a 48-page zine.
Yeah,
it's really 24 pages,
right?
Yep.
Because it's half size.
Yeah.
And then 4 of those pages are going to be the cover and the inside cover.
Yep.
Okay, so now we're down to 20 pages. You think, let's put some art in this thing. Well, that's another 8 pages maybe.
Yeah,
so
sure.
Now we're down to 12 pages of writing. Okay, well now you got to throw an OGL in there. Well, now you're down to 11 pages.
Yep.
You know.
Yo, you're
So,
right. That's a really great breakdown, Levi.
Table of contents. Now you're down to 10 pages of material. That's 10 written pages that you got to get down in there. So if you can write 10 pages, you can write a zine.
Well, I mean, my problem. Yeah, I get it. That's fine and dandy.
No, not you.
Oh, I'm like,
Obviously, of course you can do
my
it.
problem is I can't write. I overwrite is my problem, which is a weird problem.
If you overwrite, well, now all of a sudden you have a box set of 3 zines.
Yeah.
You got a series, and then this is great. This is a great beginner's course for zine writing. I like how you just broke that down, where like the 10 pages of writing, and the rest is definitely not filler, but it's other stuff that other people can help you with, and then you I don't know. On my end, I've always been comfortable with Mix'em, and
no, absolutely, they're fantastic.
Plug it in. I just got you start off small. You start out with 50 or 100, and you're paying about $1.50 for each 24-page book with a color cover and a black and white interior, and you're good to go. So all of you out there that want to give it a shot, do a Kickstarter for $200.
And then I'm sorry, go ahead.
And then it'll probably fund. You have your money right there, and then you start the cycle where you make the money, that money goes in the account for the next one, and you keep on going.
All right.
If you're like sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine.
I was gonna say, if you're one of those like triple threat guys who can write, who can draw, and also do your own layout, like
you're all set.
There's a huge part of your cost right there.
Yep.
Done. To be honest, like you do, like James West does those awesome black pudding.
Yeah. Those are awesome.
Like those things are so amazing, but he does it all himself. That's 100% like you're getting something directly out of his brain. It's 100% him. And again, that laser focus, that that narrow. This is what we're doing with this zine. This is what you're getting. Some people like to really pack zines full of content. That's what I like to do. I like to have a whole like no wasted space at all. Some people, the zines are a little bit more arty, where they've got full page like plates of art, or there's double spacing, whatever. But it doesn't matter. You're getting what you paid for, which was this person's again laser focused idea of what he wants to get across, and I just love that.
If you're not that triple threat too, I've more times than not, I am shocked about the affordability of some amazing artists.
Yeah, art's not as expensive as people think.
Yep. Especially for
absolutely right.
Because it's only so big. And you're usually going with black and white. And they're so
Chris Carmen, he undersells himself. It's a crime how much he charges. It's so cheap. And it's
Brad McDevitt too.
I would agree with on both those counts. Please raise your prices.
Yeah. They can easily raise it. Like, he definitely undersells himself. It's insane what he does.
Yep.
Yeah. Great artists. Yeah. Like I said, we've both been very lucky to find some really good guys. And most of the guys that I've been doing art with, we've stuck together through this entire process. Over 14 Kickstarters. I'm still using the same guys I've always used because I just really like working with them and collaborating with them. So,
really important question in the chat: how hard is it to buy art for your zine? What type of agreement do you have to put in place to buy art for publications?
Depends on the artist. Great question. It's all on the artist. Like, you could have a guy. So Lucas Kowalski, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
The Polish comic book guy that did a lot of art for us and our logo work and stuff. He's like so punk rock that he's like, pay me and you could do literally whatever you want with it. But then some guys will be like I mean, I don't know this because I never had this issue, but I know I've seen it. It's like they're like, you're paying for XYZ, like that's all you can do with it. So it depends on the artist for sure.
Some artists are strictly going to have a contract where it's like, you can use this image for your thing, and then after so much time, the artist can also use the image or in something else. I've had that experience. And then it's just it's great to ask questions ahead of time. Hey, if I pay you for this work, do I have, can I put this on a t-shirt as well? It's
Yeah.
different with every single person, but it's really important to get that stuff figured out up front.
Absolutely.
And I always like to make a little stipulation that I get at least one original piece of art from that, because you're getting the stuff all digitally usually when you're doing the layout. But I always like to have a little memento of the artist's work to have in hand.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I use a contract, but it's a pretty light contract. Essentially, I own the artwork. I pay you. Here's what I want you to draw. You draw it. I pay you. It's now mine. However, there's a clause in there that that when you do the art, you can also sell prints of it. You can use it in any kind of work that you want to do for yourself. Like if I hired a guy and said, "Hey, go draw this robot," and then he said, "Well, I want to give this robot to Brian," that you couldn't do that. But if you wanted to take that robot and put it in a zine that he made, knock yourself out.
Yeah.
Or if you wanted to do use it, put it on a T-shirt, again, knock yourself out. Or make prints of it, or sell the originals, or whatever. All good. It's just because you go anything less, and then after a while, like everybody's got the art, and that's one of my problems with using a ton of stock art. Is that now your stuff looks like that guy's stuff?
Yeah,
definitely.
It looks like that guy and that guy, and now everybody's stuff looks the same, and it kind of loses what makes it special, visually wise. So it's a fine line to walk.
I definitely screwed myself in that aspect. I can never use stock art because I've never seen stock art that is Neon Lords aligned. So, but that's a good thing. So you do a contract with all your artists. That would imply Ed Bickford can read.
Oh. Oh,
so
that's great to work with.
Yeah,
he's fantastic to work with. He's a real pro, and he always delivers. He's an artist and an illustrator. He knows how to. His work doesn't look like anybody else's. You look at it, you go, "Oh, Ed did that." And that's a special thing in all of its own. So
yeah, he's a character.
Yeah, he's a great dude. Yeah. I love seeing that guy at conventions. We I remember we went with some friends and went out to eat at this Chinese restaurant. We're having all these crazy, weird, spicy dishes, and then we went. We're like, what do we do now? It's Halloween. Like, well, let's go see Dune. So we just went out and saw Dune, and the next day we're right back to he's vending art and I'm trying to sell zines. So he's just a laid back dude. I really like that guy.
Yeah,
Always like seeing him at cons.
Yeah. What is your next con adventure? Are you have cons coming up soon?
Yeah, I got two. ShireCon in Connecticut. It's a little place called Falls Church. Tom Wilson puts it on. It's in an old church with big stained glass windows, and it's just like 12 hours of gaming in this crazy church in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, I heard it's a really cool setting, way over in Western Connecticut. Yeah.
Yeah, very. It's still very small, so it's like a cool everybody gets together and I remember I saw that guy at that con, and a big range of games are being played. It's very laid back, very cool. And then I'm going to Game Hole over in out in Wisconsin. That's a really great con. Probably the best.
I heard that's awesome.
Probably the best run con that I've ever been to. It's like, those folks have got it lined out. They know exactly what they're doing and where things should be, and they treat their guests like gold. Like you have just the best experience there. The vending is great. The games are good. It's a really good con to go to.
Do you drive there?
I drove last year. This year I'm going to fly out.
How long of a drive for you is it to Wisconsin?
I want to say it was like 14 hours.
I was going to say
one way. It was a long way, man. It was a long way.
Well, that's the problem with vending, because I have to, every con I go to, I have to vend if I go, because we're the little guys, Levi, and we got to make some money somewhere.
You got to get yourself a Legion of Doom that will help you share costs. And
Levi,
By that table.
why do you think Joey asked you about it? We already got it.
Well, good. That's exactly.
We are dastardly dogs, my friend.
So
I want to see like 500 Legion of Dooms. That's exactly what I want.
our
to see.
Legion of Doom, I'm gonna say it live on my show, Joey. If you don't mind spilling, we could spill the beans.
Not at all.
Our Legion of
We
Doom
help each other.
is called Sewer Rat Inc., and we are a RPG mega corporation.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's me. So far, it's me, Joey, and then the Don't Tell Mom and Dad guys, Ben and Ted. We've seen what you've done, and we are coming up, but we are the Sewer Rats.
Yeah, you should do that, and then get a spot right next to us, and we can all hang out.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is kind of the plan. Like
Yeah.
all these little conglomerates all kind of working in the same direction. It's
Because
like,
I will be selling your stuff just as much as I sell my own. Be like, hey, listen, I know you're not into this weird fantasy stuff I got going on,
yeah.
but go down
I mean-
there and pick up that copy of Ninja City, because
That's exactly what happened. We went up to AnchorCon with Ben and Ted, and we were all selling each other stuff.
Yeah.
And it was fun. Not only was it like we were helping each other out, but it was like fun. It's like it's your crew. It's like it shows that we're all working in the same direction. Skunkwork wants to know if you're going to North Texas next year.
I will. Yeah, absolutely. I try not to ever miss that one. This year was my fourth year. But if there's any one con I don't want to miss, it's that one.
I heard that's awesome.
I love that con, and it's such a treasure.
Yeah. Yep. AnchorCon was my first con, and I got to start hitting up some more of these. I want to start seeing everybody in person.
These small ones, like you should go to Total Con. That's over in Massachusetts.
Yeah, I think I'm thinking about that one. Total Con. When I was in AnchorCon, there was Necronomicon, where Tim and all my Rhode Island guys went. That sounds like that's a pretty cool one too.
Yeah.
But I want to spread my wings a little bit and start checking some of these out.
So what's Total Con, Joey? We should go to that. I'll go to that one with you.
That is, I believe,
It's next year, like January or February.
Right. It's a winter one. But that it does sound pretty cool.
Well, first of all, where in Massachusetts doesn't lie, because some places, if it's in Springfield, Mass, I don't know, Joey.
No,
If
it's like 50 minutes from Boston.
it's like Worcester,
I'm trying to think of it where
I'm
it's at.
looking right now.
I'll look it up.
Total Con.
Marlboro. It's in Marlboro.
Marlboro,
Oh,
Mass.
It's in. Is it? I thought it's in. Oh wait, that's the LLC is in New Hampshire, but yeah, in Marlboro, Mass.
Oh, I've been to Marlboro, Mass. I'm okay with Marlboro, Mass.
And it's
Good
chill,
people,
man. It's
good
so
people.
chill. It's so chill there.
Yeah. So, Joe, you wanna? Cause like, no surprise to any. Well, not surprise, but yeah, I am medically retiring from the Army currently.
Yeah,
so,
congratulations, man.
Thank you.
That's
thank you.
awesome.
So I will be at more cons. I know, like, I was a ghost for a long time, so I will be trying to do more cons as I am out of the
We'll
Army.
be rolling up with our satin jackets.
So, you know what? Actually, I have a link I still have to send you. I saw this, like, 70s Kiss jacket on eBay. It was, like, screen printed, like, on, like, a silk jacket, and it was, like, Kiss. All like Kiss from front to back. I'll have to send it to you.
I'm familiar with it. It's they're very delicate. I almost got one at a yard sale a couple of years ago, just to have, but like to touch, it almost like flaked away. They're beautiful, but they don't last.
Yeah, it looks like if you sneeze in it, it's just gonna like it's gonna like the Thanos snap. It's like
which could be awesome. Because I could just wear that only, show up, sneeze, and then poof, it's all out there.
Very good.
So, Levi.
Listen, guys, I gotta bail.
Yeah,
I gotta bail too. I wanted to thank you, man. You are an inspiration. You really are, man. Like what you're putting out, not only the quality, but how your consistency and the community aspect of what you're doing. You are a gem, my boy. Thank you very much for all that you do.
Yes, thank you for
Man,
coming.
it was great to be on this show, man. This was a extremely good hang. So, yeah, please have me back one day.
I'd love to have you on the
back.
pizza party too.
Anytime.
Let me know when you want to be on the pizza party. We'll arrange something
And
next
then
time
you
your
get
Kickstarter
to,
comes
you get
out.
to talk to Marty Royale, Joey's
Cousin
coos.
Marty Royale from Hoboken. That would be great. Good to see you, man. And thank you for your time.
Yeah. So, from there, I will say good night to everybody. Thank you, Levi, for coming on.
Thanks for having me, man.
We will talk to you soon. From here, we got the Kickstarter still going on. If you didn't kickstart Total Carnage Edition of Neon Lords, please do so. Unlock some stuff. I said it last night on the stream. The next unlock is temporary tattoo sheets.
Go for it.
So get your temporary tattoos. Anybody else? Thanks for watching. I will talk to you guys later. We are out.
That was great, Levi. Thank you very much.
Oh man, thanks for having me. And Brian, I'm gonna watch.
And out of these dark times came the gnarly age. A time where humanoids no longer fear the evil of the wastelands. You, brave scumdog, are you a rat enough dude to take up arms against the mutants and slime-ridden horrors that lay within the ruins of the forgotten world? Be cautious, my dude, for these are still times of great bogus peril. May Lord Randy bless your slaughters and keep you red.
Total Carnage!
Original music makes me sick. We'll make it faster, unleash the bastards, and make it right for our new dead master. Oh my God, what have we done? The songs are redone, and we just begun. Yes, this is it. Time to commit, and we'll do a guitarist. This is right to our face. Ripping off municipal waste. They put it straight in our place. Ripping off municipal waste! Team Voice, Ryan Waste! Ripping off municipal waste! This is right to our face! Ripping off municipal waste!
And out of these dark times came the gnarly age. A time where humanoids no longer fear the evil of the wastelands. You, brave scumdog, are you a rat enough dude to take up arms against the mutants and slime-ridden horrors that lay within the ruins of the forgotten world? Be cautious, my dude, for these are still times of great bogus peril. May Lord Randy bless your slaughters and keep you red.
Total Carnage!
crystal, this guitar riff, original music makes me sick. We'll make it faster, unleash the masters, and make it right for our new dead master. Oh my God, what have we done? The songs are redundant, have we just begun? Guess this is it, time to commit, and we'll do a guitar riff. This is right to our face, ripping off invisible ways. They put straight in our place, ripping off invisible ways. Deep voice, riot waste, ripping off invisible ways. This is right to our face, ripping off invisible ways.
And out of these dark times came the Gnarly Age, a time where humanoids no longer fear the evil of the wastelands. You, brave scumdog, are you a rat enough dude to take up arms against the mutants and slime-ridden horrors that lay within the ruins of the Forgotten World? Be cautious, my dude, for these are still times of great bogus peril. May Lord Randy bless your slaughters and keep you red.